Buff Nation, what up? BWB, my bandwagon buffs. What it is, what it does, and what it's gonna be. It's your man's Harry Billion. Family, welcome to the Liberian Perspective. Please do me a favor and smash that subscribe button. Make sure to give me the thumbs up and don't forget to hit that bell notification so that you can get the videos as soon as it uploads to YouTube. Hey, family, guess what, man? I got to go ahead and get into this live stream, so that's all the business I got. You know what time it is. Let's work. Welcome to TLP Live at noon. I am your host, Harry Billion. I'm your guy. We're going to have a great show today. Happy holidays. If you celebrate Christmas, belated, happy or merry belated Christmas. I hope you had a wonderful time with you and yours. And I hope if you didn't celebrate Christmas, I hope you and your family are having a good time this holiday season. All right, guys. We have a good show today. I have some information that you probably already know, but we are filling in the gaps. Coach Prime and his staff are filling in the gaps. I want to let you know that Coach Prime has a mandate. Not let you know, but probably remind some of y'all. Coach Prime has a mandate to make that number 12, that 12-team roster when it comes to the playoffs. Coach Prime is doing a heck of a job making sure that he fill in the blanks to get there. A really good job to do that. I'm going to tell you some more of the gaps that he's filling in, but let me remind you of the gaps that I'm talking about. The biggest one of all is going to be that offensive line. Coach Prime has to fill that offensive line. All right? Let me just back up just a little bit. Coach Prime is moving. Coach Prime and the Colorado Buffs are going over to the Big 12. All right? Ellen, you're finally catching the live? That's what's up. Coach Prime and his mandate is to actually get into the 12-team playoffs, and then we're actually moving into the Big 12. So I'm just going to call it the Big 12. Coach Prime wants to be a part of that Big 12. And to get to that Big 12, it's going to take some work because there's actually a lot of work to be done because there are teams that are in the way that are not just going to be like, hey, man, go ahead. You're Coach Prime. You do whatever you want to do. It ain't going to be that easy. So this off season on all of these lives, or for the most part, if I'm not interrupted by some Jordan Seaton-esque news or something, we've been talking about the road to the Big 12. How do we get to that Big 12? It's possible to get there, but there has to be a lot of work that is done in those pockets or those areas that need help. And we've been talking about those areas, and Coach Prime is addressing those issues. The biggest one being the offensive line, all right? Another one is the defensive line. So it's almost like on both sides of the ball, we got some really big issues. But it's not as if we have to do an overhaul like we did. We don't necessarily have to do that anymore. We just need to replace a few pieces to become competitive with some of these teams. And we believe here at TLP Sports Club that if we are competitive, we're going to turn the tide and win a lot more of those games, those close games that we lost in 2023. So those areas, the offensive line, the defensive line, and then specifically the linebackers room, which I identified that Levante Bentley, I guess the guy that left, I forget his name. I think his name was Van. He transferred out. So now it's like we don't really have a strong linebackers room. We really didn't have a strong linebackers core because our safety, Trevor Woods, had to go over to linebacker to fill a gap. So it's like, okay, we really don't have a linebackers room. Get rid of everybody, bring in some new ones. Coach Prime is answering that question as well. So we're going to talk about that as well. And then there are other areas of need, like, you know, on this channel we've prescribed we need maybe one more corner for depth because we do have Cormani McLean, we do have Travis Hunter, but in case any of those people get hurt, we need some more experience in that room as well. So there are a couple of places that we need to address, and Coach Prime is doing that. And I believe that this holiday season, Coach Prime is getting a few gifts. We're going to talk about those gifts. So remember, guys, let me tell you, on your screen, if you look right here in this area right here, all right, hot tips for TLP sports at gmail.com. You can email me. I'm going to send you a link. And with that link, you will be able to call into the show. I'll send you a link, and then you'll come into the show, and you can express whatever views you got to express. So again, I hope you had a good holiday. We're about to get into the show right now. And don't forget, all right, hot tips for TLP sports at gmail.com. Hot tips for TLP sports at gmail.com. It is right over there on your screen. Call into the show so that you can have your voice heard. This is your show. Let's go. All right. So on Christmas Day, well, before I do that, I mean, let me keep the spirit of the show. Let me say hello to my guests, those who are able to chime in. Kim B, how you doing today? Ellen 2 Libra, what up with you? That boy Rico, hey, how you doing today? We got a lot more people watching. Maybe they can't really join into the chat right now, but hopefully they'll be able to come into the chat room and have a conversation with me or call into the show. But a lot of you already know that Coach Prime got a good surprise on Christmas Day. We're going to go ahead and jump into that real quick, guys. All right. Give me 1 second. I'm going to share my screen with you so that we can go ahead, get that news, and then we'll have a conversation about that news. So one of the major areas that we needed to address was our linebackers room. And Coach Prime definitely got a surprise, a Christmas surprise or a Christmas gift. He wasn't surprised. We were. Florida State linebacker DJ Lundy heading to play for the Colorado Buffaloes in 2024. Excuse me. This is a pretty big deal. So the idea is it's officially let's see, what's his name? Lundy is officially a Buff. Transfer from Florida State, has signed with the Colorado Buffs. He's 6'1", 244-pound. Lundy racked up 170 tackles, 14 for a loss, 2.5 sacks, 7 pass breakups, 1 forced fumble, and 1 fumble recovery. Lundy saw action in a total of 42 contests with the Seminoles and will have 1 year of eligibility remaining to compete with the Buffaloes. All right, that is Lundy. Let me see if I have anything else on this guy. I believe I do. What up, man? So I'm not sure how many of you guys paid attention to Florida State. If you haven't heard the news about Florida State, they were the one that was snubbed. They went 13-0, and when it came time for them to get voted into the playoff, that 14 playoff, the board, the members that vote on the playoff or the FBS level, they said, nah, Florida State, their quarterback got hurt. They're not going to be the same team, so we're not going to put them in. Now, a little bit more about Florida State. One thing you have to understand about Florida State. I'm not sure if you guys been seeing the blank screen. Hold up. Let me make sure. C.K. Williams says, Harry B, you need to apologize. Apologize for what? What are you talking about? X-Men, what up with you? Timothy Smith, Dallas is in the house. What up with you? I need to apologize? What you talking about? Oh my gosh. No apology necessary. Let me show y'all again. Let me share my screen again, guys. Y'all ready to start that stuff already, huh? All right, so let's go. So DJ Lundy was an honorable mention for all ACC. Okay, so now you got to understand about the thing about Florida State. Florida State actually had one of the best defenses in college football because when their starting quarterback went down, they started two other quarterbacks. I believe their second string, and they had to get all the way down to their third string. So Florida State's defense carried them in the season. Also, keep in mind that we had some folks who left Colorado play for Florida State as well. Started, okay? But their defense was really good. So DJ Lundy being on that defense, it's a pretty big deal. It's not something that we like, oh yeah, we just got another player. This is a pretty big deal that we got somebody from their line. And as far as their team goes, a lot of them are not, decided not to play in that bowl game. They decided not to play. But anyway, their defensive core pretty much carried them through the season, or through the part of the season when their starting quarterback went down, or pretty much throughout the season. So for us to get somebody from that defense, it's a pretty big deal. That's a linebacker. I just want to stress that was an area of need that we had, an area of great need. And the reason why is because linebackers are those guys that's going to get to that quarterback, hurry that quarterback, and make him, go down so that the defense can get off the field faster, get the offense back on the field. You need fast linebackers, those guys that's going to really put that pressure on that offense or that quarterback. So getting DJ Lundy is a major deal. And I'll remind you, okay? I will remind you, if you are just joining the live, this guy is 6'1", 244 pounds. He got 170 tackles, 14 for a loss, 2.5 sacks. Like that contribution is we're getting that contribution. Thank you. For Coach Prime and for us to get that contribution, I'm excited. I'm really excited for that contribution, like for sure. Give me 1 second, guys. BP, what up with you? And then I'm about to share with you another linebacker that we need to pay some attention to. Let me go ahead and share my screen. If I'm not sharing that, give me 1 moment, guys. Alfonso Wilcott says Colorado is the new Alabama. Colorado definitely did snatch a few of those guys from Alabama. So I don't know about the new Alabama. Colorado is still trying to create a powerhouse as far as recruiting is concerned. We're still navigating our way through. All right, guys. All right, let me know you can see my screen. Hopefully you can see my screen, guys. I'll play this interview for y'all. All right, can you guys see that? Can you guys see and hear the interview? I just want to make sure before I continue. I don't want to be showing a blank screen. Can you guys see and hear that interview? All right, Kim B, I appreciate you. Thank you. Here we go. So I look at this. I'm gonna tell you how I take this Wangwo situation. So the idea of having a linebacker like that, right? The idea of having this linebacker, he's his why is going. Oh, no sound. You guys had no sound. Oh, you guys had no sound. Can y'all hear me now? Oh, y'all can hear me, but y'all couldn't hear. Y'all couldn't hear the interview. Oh man, that sucks. Let's see. Oh, let me see. Hold up. All right, so if y'all can't hear the clip, let me just read what he says. He was basically talking about the fact that he's I guess the beginning of the interview with Brian Howell, he was just talking about having a 2-year-old daughter, and they had a date and whatever, and being a father and having responsibilities. Now, the fact that he has a child, the fact that he's actually, what I'm saying, he has that responsibility. His why is a little different from a lot of the young men who are at this school. So his why, it's like, what I'm saying, he understands that, having his own family, sometimes, a lot of these players will come in and their parents would be the why, mom would be the why, getting mom out of the hood would be the why. But when you have a daughter or you have kids, especially being in college is already, hectic in itself. But when you have a child, you add that's a whole nother layer. And it seems like this is like he has a good support base. So his why is a little different. And he's a linebacker. We need experienced linebackers. We have to like to have a linebackers room that's coming in understanding the whatever the assignment is. Now we are addressing the one of the biggest areas of need on that defensive line. So getting a linebacker or getting multiple linebackers, getting DJ Lundy, and then getting the Wanwo. His name is a little hard to pronounce, but this is an area that you should be excited about. If you are a Buff fan, you should definitely be excited for the fact that we are answering the question of a linebacker. Because you got to keep in mind, our defense was not that shabby this year. For a lot of our games, we were in there with a lot of teams. So our defense was not terrible. Now we had to make some adjustments to stop the run. So it seems like what Coach Prime is doing, all of the questions that are in your head, if you are a Buff fan, if you're like, okay, how are we gonna win next year? Because it's not gonna be a cakewalk. But the areas that we have identified on this show have been areas where are areas that Coach Prime is addressing. Just give me 1 second, one moment. So one of my biggest concern was the fact that we could not stop the run. I mean, it was like we got running backs that came in and they were running the ball like they were superstars. So we are here. We got DJ. We got DJ Lundy. The contribution that he had on the undefeated Florida team, it's got to be something that you got to be excited about if you are a Buff. So when we come from an area where we couldn't stop the run, our linebackers, you can barely name our linebackers. The linebackers are one of those skill positions where you know your linebackers because they're produced. Linebackers are skilled players that produce at a high rate, and you will learn the name of your linebackers because those are the guys that, for the most part, are going to be getting sacks. Those are the guys that's going to be hurting the quarterback. And if they do their job very well, like you will see, like it's almost like you'll see that whole defensive line getting praises because the linebackers are doing their job. And we need a couple more. Now, okay, so I would say we've already answered the question. We've answered the question because we got a couple of linebackers now that can play, but we need a couple more, not being greedy, but just for DEPTH. DEPTH is very important because when somebody goes down, we need the next guy to be able to fill in. So that's what's going on. So I need to make sure I will be more satisfied having a couple more linebackers that are just as good as DJ Lundy and Wangwo, okay? Y'all, man, what up with you? So, hot tips for TLPsports@gmail.com. Send me that email when you're ready to come on. Let me know. I will send you the link, and you can come on to the show. Hey, everybody, Romana, Shirley Kimball. I hope everybody is having a great holiday. So I will be sending that link as soon as you guys send me your email. Hot tips for TLPsports@gmail.com. If you are just joining the live and you haven't seen this information, I want to share this with you real quick. Some people like the information, some don't, but I'm going to go ahead and give you a little bit more information. Dion Coach Prime Sanders and his staff helped deliver a holiday present to Buff Nation on Monday. The Buffaloes have added an experienced, proven player at a position of need. Linebacker DJ Lundy plans to transfer to Colorado for the 2024 season after 4 years at Florida State. During that run in Tallahassee, the 6'1", 244-pound Lundy racked up 170 tackles, 14 for a loss, 2.5 sacks, 7 pass breakups, 1 forced fumble, and 1 fumble recovery. He was used situationally on offense, scoring 2 rushing touchdowns and 1 receiving score. So this is like, he's almost like a two-way, basically a two-way player when he's needed. That's another Travis Hunter type on the linebackers line on that defense. Now, according to Pro Football Focus, Lundy played 403 defensive snaps in 2023. He graded out at 78.2 overall, which was in the top 6 amongst the Seminoles defenders that helped the team to an undefeated record. The prior year in 2022, Lundy graded out at 74.6 by PFF. For perspective, only Travis Hunter, 74.8, graded out better than that on Colorado's defense this past season. Put that in perspective. All right, I had to put that in there so you can understand who we're getting. This guy can play. He can straight out ball. And being from a team that did as well, that went undefeated, and then their defense was actually the most instrumental for that undefeated season. Buff Nation, I'm telling you right now, this calls for that celebration. We got to make sure, we got to understand that we're not just answering the call. Coach Prime is not just filling the void. He is filling the void to win, because you're getting starters who performed on teams that were successful. So I'm a little giddy because it's a linebacker. All right, it's a linebacker. I'm just kind of giddy. I can't help myself, because I said replace all the linebackers, and now we got 2 solid. When I say solid, 2 solid linebackers that are going to be able to help us to stop the run. And also, when you think about the fact that teams were scoring on us with the little short drop passes, with the cross routes, the faster you can get to that quarterback, you stop most of that. So we're answering that question, and I can't be happier. All right, y'all, man, call me if you want to chop it up. That's for sure. Rodney Morris, what up with you? Hope all is well. So Rodney says Nick Swanton from Purdue is giving CU a look. That's good news. Purple Orca, what up? What up? How's it going? Hope all is well. Shirley, how you doing? Hope all is well. Karen, what's up? Stevie Davey, what up? Sorry, guys, the video had no sound. My bad. I thought that thumbs up from Ken was like saying that y'all can hear it, y'all can see it. So okay, Coach Prime has several areas to address. The first area that we addressed was that offensive line. That was the most immediate thing right out the gate. We went out, we addressed that. So feel confident. That area is addressed. We got starters, and we got DEPTH. We got depth. So I'm totally excited for the offensive line, and I feel confident that we have enough guys. You play 5, you have one for rotation. So we're bringing in starters, but we also have starters from last year's team. Now, we're not going to make the argument. We're not going to that argument is already exhausted. They were terrible, but the starters give us depth, okay? And if they stay, they didn't leave, I don't know that we're going to have any saboteurs, or we're going to have anyone here that if somebody's staying that they just want to play saboteur, we're going to smell them out, and we're going to get rid of them. They're probably not going to start anyway. But I don't know that we're going to have anybody just doing their body like this and just letting anybody pass anymore, because now we have guys that can fill that void. So if you feel like you're about to be a saboteur, they'll get rid of you quickly because now we got depth. We got enough guys on that line now where we don't have to worry about somebody sabotaging the line. Because I think a lot of the arguments that you guys made was that we had several people that were, it seemed like they were saboteurs. So hopefully we have enough guys now that we don't necessarily have to worry about somebody sabotaging the line. So that offensive line, we're good. We're good on the offensive line now. So Purple Organ, we need, what you say right here? Need about 8 playable linemen to really sustain a whole season. Linemen always getting rolled up. So yeah. So what Purple Orca is saying there, we got that now. Now, because we have our starters from last year, and I know y'all don't like to hear the starters from last year, but they become role players. They become our depth. Okay? So I think if there was any saboteurs in the building, or let me not say saboteurs, because I don't know that anybody directly wanted to sabotage the team, or they just felt disgruntled, or they just weren't like 100% into it. Now the players that are there, those that want to be there are there, and the new guys are coming in. So we're getting starters. We get the 5 guys, and then we got like maybe 4 other guys that are going to be there because of our starters from last year. That's why I feel so confident that I think we're good. We may not be done. We may not be done for that line, but I think we're good. We are solid on that line. And I feel very confident that we've answered the question on that offensive line. In the coming days, I'm going to give you, once we get everybody in and we get more of the pieces that, like, okay, this person ain't doing that, this person. Once we get a solid list, then I'm going to do the video where I give you the average weight, the average height, and you know what I'm saying, how we compare to other lines that we're going to be playing in the Big 12. So that's coming. But now I feel like we can rest assured that your line, like your Colorado, your offensive line where Shador is going to be protected somewhat, it's good. So you can rest assured, you can breathe a little bit. We good there. What else are we talking about? We're dealing with other things as well. It's not just the line being like, okay, it's not no Great Wall of China, right? It's the Great Wall of Boulder, but the Boulder Wall is not going to be like, okay, we're going to stop everything. There's still going to be some things that we make sure that is happening. Shador's mechanics got to obviously change, right? And we got to work on certain mechanics for Shador, either getting rid of the ball faster, making sure he steps inside of the pocket, handing the ball off. If we're still playing RPO, run pass option or run pass offense, if we're still doing that, just deciding a little faster when you're going to do that, those are the things that's going to help that line out a little bit. So it's not like we're getting a line that's going to be like just stopping everything or just making sure that nobody can bust through. That's not possible. Just, I want everybody to understand that. But this line is going to be a lot better. And I would say if we're going to go from 54, was it 52 or 54? 52 sacks. I believe we're going to go from 52 to maybe somewhere in the 20-ish range. That's how I feel about this line, because I don't know about any line in college football, especially if you've been watching some of these teams this bowl weekend that we just had. If you've been watching any of these bowl games, you know that there's no line, even with all these good teams, you know that there's no line that is just impeccable, that is just like you can't break the line. If you guys watched any game so far that had that line, please let me know. But this will be the time where you evaluate those good teams that made those bowl, those successful teams. This will be the time where you get to evaluate them and say, okay, I understand. Like when you're watching these games, just do 1001, 1002, and count how fast are these defensive backs getting to that offensive line or getting to the quarterback. And you get more of a sense, a reality of what we're looking at. Because when the season comes, I don't want nobody to be watching and be like, oh gosh, here we go again. It's not like we're gonna be, it's just gonna be a solid wall where nobody's gonna break through, because then then you'll be setting yourself up for that. You know what I'm saying? Just to be disappointed, because it's not that. It's going to be way better, though. And I'm excited for that. If we get that edge from Purdue, linebackers, edge rushers, like, yo, if you are a Buff, this is like, if you are a Buff fan, once bowl season is done, this is only a couple of weeks, okay? It's only a couple of weeks. Everything's going to be over. We've already played enough bowl games. We've already played some bowl games, and then you got the New Year 6 bowl that's going to happen, and then you get the national title game. So before you know it, you'll be seeing a lot more movement in that transfer portal area again. People are going to be jumping into the transfer portal, and we're going to be seeing a lot more movement. So this is like, I don't know how the fact that we are able to beat out Alabama and some of these big name schools, it should let you know what type of work, how much work Coach Prime and his team are putting in. Like, you should, for us to be at where we're at right now, we're like, I don't know if let me go to 247 Sports. Let me show you guys where we rank right now. I believe we're ranked second right now. We should be ranked second in that portal. Let me see. Hold on, Zal. What you saying, Shaw? What are you saying right here? That Florida D tackle isn't a lock yet. He might end up at Texas A&M. What you talking about? You talking about DJ Lundy? Zal Shaw. Let me know who you talking about. Which you talking about? If you're talking about Lundy, I thought that was a for sure thing. Shantae, how you doing today? Wild Dog here. What's up? How you guys doing? Hope all is well. Oh, okay. So this guy. Okay. Not that guy. He's talking about. Okay. McClellan. DJ's a linebacker, that's for sure. Okay, so we're talking about this guy right here. This is the guy that he's talking about. Yeah, I haven't heard much news on this guy yet. But I'm encouraged that, like, we're not done yet. So what happened this year for this season? For 2 years in a row, we've actually won the battle of the transfer portal. That's encouraging for Buff fans to also understand. We've won. Let me pick up my headphones here. We've won the battle of the transfer portal. So, and how do you win that battle? You go into the transfer portal, you recruit guys that have the actual ranking. The transfer portal rankings are there, and the quality of the players are ranked. So it's not like we're just getting a bunch of bodies, able bodies, and we're just throwing them on the team. We're getting quality players that are in the transfer portal because they want a new situation. And I believe when you look at somebody like DJ who has 1 year of eligibility left, what does that tell you? It gives you a sense of he understands something. Now, you play for Coach Prime, like you're playing on Florida State. You probably, like, a lot of y'all probably never heard the name before. Okay, true football fans who follow the sport, who follow Florida State and like the playoff situation, you would know DJ's name because he was obviously a producer on that team. But the nation really didn't know that name. So what happens now with 1 year of eligibility left? He comes over to Coach Prime. His name is going to shoot up on the national stage. So a lot of these young men understand now, when you come to Coach Prime to play for Coach Prime, your name shoots up on the national stage. So with 1 year, it's a good strategy for him. It's a chess move. So if you have aspirations to play on that next level, You're already a solid player. So what happens now? You just need your name to shoot up on that national stage, because when they do your NFL recruiting valuation, what they're gonna do is it's gonna be from Florida State. But the fact that your name is on that national stage, now they're paying attention. Now it's like you may even leapfrog other players because your name is in the national spotlight. Hopefully, you guys are understanding what I'm saying. So it's not just the work, it's also about the brand and the name. If the name is in the light, more recruits and the fan base are going to be talking about you more, and that's going to give you a little bit of a leverage. I'm not saying it's a lot. I don't want none of the NFL guys to say, "Oh no, that doesn't matter." I'm just saying, usually when your name is hot, if you take the Ball family, their names were hot. It's not like there weren't other players that couldn't play like they could, but because their name was hot, it gave them that extra leverage. More people talked about them, and that gave them a little bit of a bump when it came to actually being drafted. So I think this is a good chess move for DJ, because now you with your record and all of the things that you've done at Florida State, you come over here, you ball out for Coach Prime, it's almost a shoo-in. So that's a chess move right there, and I like it. That's right, Anthony. The more exposure you get, because I think some people don't understand. Like, if you are a business person, if you understand the business of sports, if you understand the business of football, the exposure helps you in your recruiting, because you can go out there, you can put up numbers, but sometimes there are people that put up like maybe 2 or 3 other, you know what I'm saying? Like, just their numbers is like the same as you. And for some reason, either their connection, something is going to bump them over. But exposure helps you a lot. That's right, Tim. Your draft pick gets a lot better with the exposure. So coach is making those moves. Coach, that's 2 moves that I'm excited about. We're gonna be making more moves, and look out for more things to happen when it comes to once the bowl season is over, because I feel like we're gonna make some moves on some of these teams that are in those top 6, because you're gonna get this they call it the new year 6. So you're gonna get those top teams, and then obviously you're gonna have your national playoff. So I like our chances. I have no idea what I can't say I don't have any idea. The idea that Coach Prime, the type of work that he's doing, where a lot of people or a lot of media outlets were, for some odd reason, they were putting out the energy that nothing was going to happen or nobody was going to come here. But Coach Prime himself can tell you, just let them keep talking. We're going to keep working. They are working. Buff fans, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Like, you'll see what happens this year. Like not this year, but 2024, which is in a few days. Bishop Frank, what up with you? Yo, Flock, man, what's up with you? Hope all is well. I hope all is well. Lots of movement. Flock, we got a lot of things happening. Y'all, man, what you say? Let me what you say here, y'all, man. You be hard on CU, so let me see what you're saying here. CU will probably finish top because they are the ones who have bigger needs at various positions. Exposure is performance, Harry. It doesn't matter what or where you're at. Exposure is performance, Harry. Exposure helps your performance. That's how I would put it. Exposure helps to propel your performance, because performance alone, you know what I'm saying, sometimes it's not enough, because you can perform because there's obviously, you know, in recruiting you got a lot of performers. Everybody's performing, but what pushes you over is exposure. Exposure gives you that extra thing that you need. So, and then your name is going to be out there, and then the fans are going to talk about you. Usually when the fans talk about you, their expectations are usually what helps the people that are choosing those players, what helps them to say, oh, we should get that kid that beasted out at Colorado, that DJ kid. But keep in mind that he started off at Florida State 4 years, and now we're gonna be getting him for 1 year. Performance propels your exposure, not the other way around. Well, obviously you gotta perform, so they're all performing, but sometimes, like if you're not on a Coach Prime team, or you're not on a team that, let me just give it to you like this. Coach Prime, because of his exposure, if you're already performing, that exposure just allows your performance to be seen. You see what I'm saying? Allows more people to see your performance. That's what exposure does for you. Because if you ask the casual fan, like if you ask me, I didn't watch that many Florida games this year. But a lot of people who didn't really watch Florida State, you see what I'm saying? A lot of people who didn't watch Florida State football, because they're just not football fans, they're just mostly like Dion Sanders fans. When you come here, now whatever you were doing now is now on a bigger stage for everybody else to see. So that just makes it, you know what I'm saying? It just makes it easier for a lot more eyeballs to see what you were doing. You were already doing what you were doing, so you got to perform regardless. You got to do your job first, right? It's your performance that's actually going to allow us to get you over here. But now you add that exposure, and more people get to see that performance that you were doing. So that's how I look at it. So it makes perfect sense, business sense for, I would say, other players to come here. Like if you got a couple more years, if you can just get past the noise, just get past the daggone noise. That's the part that just frustrates me a lot, because it's like, don't listen to the stupidity. There's a lot of people out there, and their sole job is to sully the link to Colorado. That's all they're doing it. That's all they're there for. It's to make that the pipeline, to just make it fuzzy and just blind folks from seeing what's about to happen here. So, but it makes so much business sense. It makes so much sense for these young men to understand, especially, I understand the ones that say, okay, that look at the business part of it and say, okay, I see that they have that answer. I know he's probably going to start. I could probably start, but he's probably going to start, and I'll probably be fighting for a position. And I know that Colorado, like to tell you the truth, we get tunnel vision. If one person it's not necessarily tunnel vision. It's just football. It's just how coaching goes. If somebody's beasting out, you're not going to see the field. All right, let me just put it that way. Okay, so it's not tunnel vision. It's coaching. It's how life and how sports work. The guy that's in front of you, if he's beasting, you will not see the field. It's just plain and simple. So a lot of these young men that make decisions based upon that, they're like, okay, if they got this guy and I know him, or I know about him from this school, and I know he's a beast, and I may or may not start over him, then I make the decision not to come. Because then what are my chances of getting on the field? Because I already know that if he beats out and he doesn't get hurt or nothing happens, I'm wasting a whole year of college. I'm wasting one. If I only got one more year of college and I know that there's a beast in front of me, I don't know that I go there, because if he doesn't get hurt, the only chance of me getting on that field is that either he gets hurt or something happens and I get a rep. So I understand why some of these young men make that decision. But if if that's not your situation, if you got a couple of years and you know that you are a beast, then I would say it makes sense for you to come to Colorado, because Colorado has opportunities that other schools are not going to provide you. Even the biggest schools. Because if you look at the stat lines, if you look at the viewership stat lines, on some lists, Colorado is number 3, all right? And Georgia is like number 6, all right? Colorado's number 3, and then on number 4 on some people's stat line. For Colorado to just to go from 0 to now number 3, it makes all the sense in the world. And I don't understand why a young person doesn't have, I think I have a stat line. Let me see if I can pull that up for you guys. I wouldn't understand why a young player would not make the decision to want to come to Colorado. It wouldn't make sense to me. So let's see if I can pull that up for you guys. All right, here it goes. While I pull this up, remember, guys, hot tips for tlpsports@gmail.com. If you want to join the live and have your voice heard, I'm gonna put up this stat so you guys can see. So right there on your screen, let me see. Do I go this way? Let me go this way. Make it a little easier. Right there on your screen, you see Alabama. What's that? 7.12 million views. Ohio State. Let me just read it off my phone. That way I can show you guys. Ohio State was 6.05 million. And then Colorado number 3. Colorado number 3, 6. This is the average overall because we obviously know Colorado was killing it in the beginning of the season. All these numbers just started getting lower and lower once we started losing. But in the beginning, nobody was close. All right, so we got Georgia at 5. Georgia's right below Colorado, 5.90 million views. Michigan was 5.61 million. And then you got Tennessee, 4.57 million. And then Oregon was 4.43 million. And we did play Oregon, so I would say Oregon probably some of their numbers is influence from our game that we played. And these other numbers are real true numbers because, I mean, I'm not saying Oregon can't hold their own, but truth be told, if you play Colorado, your numbers are going up because you played us. And we are one of the hottest teams. We're one of the hottest teams spinning. So, and if you couldn't hear me, I hope the audio wasn't so bad. I didn't even pull the microphone over to me. So, boy, gotta get your tucks right. Colorado only fell to number 3 because they had to err on the pack. Oh yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, I mean, you having to look for the game, having to look for the game on on YouTube to try to figure it out. Like, I feel like every Colorado game should have been on somebody's national television. Even when we were losing, people were looking for us. So I don't understand what in the world was going on. Flock says the Tennessee games were boring. So at the end of the day, man, I don't understand how you drop the ball. And I would say even after the season started, like, bruh, when you realize that we were getting 10 million views, we were getting those high numbers, 9 million views. When you realize that, somebody should have went back to the table and be like, yo, I know we dropped the ball in the beginning of the season, but at the end of the day, you see how many people are checking for Colorado. Let's make a deal. Like, somebody should have made a deal. Let's make a deal to get Colorado back on television because people will watch. All right? And when I say people will watch, I mean people watching it, whether they're watching us to lose, to see us lose, or watching us to just because they're fans. People will watch it. And it's business. It's business at the end of the day. I don't care how you look at it. You can hate Colorado all you want, but if you can take your hateration hat off and say, okay, if you were one of these executives, you tell me, would it not make sense for you to put Colorado on? And instead of giving somebody 3 million, you get at least 6 million from a Colorado game. When we started losing, that's when the numbers started to drop. That's the only time you saw the numbers dropping. And they didn't drop all the way out of like normal other teams being on television. Some of those teams that you saw on ESPN that you were watching, They could barely crack 1 million views. Colorado at our worst game this season, it was gonna give you at least 3 million views, at least on national television. We never went below 1 million views. Any game that you put us on, our worst game was gonna be over 3 million views. So there's this thing where, like, the Pac-12. I don't know if this is something where they had they could have like renegotiated, but you can do a simulcast. You can do a multi deal. You know what I'm saying? You can air on what ABC airs on ESPN. You know what I'm saying? One of those deals where you know that Colorado's hot. You know that it's now nationally known, right, Shante? And you understand like how big this game is. Your Pac-12 games are not, you know what I'm saying, are not anywhere near your Pac-12 network. People cannot find you. People on the East Coast can't find you. So I would say the best deal would have been to say, okay, we're going to air through Pac-12. We're going to do the commentary, but we air on some local channel. Like we send it through the cable networks. We do something where you can find it on the cable networks. That would have been the deal that I would have made. I'm just saying, like, I would have made a deal where it's aired on Pac-12, but it goes through some other network that is much bigger than the Pac-12 that gets to the East Coast. Because I believe maybe the West Coast saw it, but for the life of us, we had to watch on YouTube, and then the games were all spotty. They were all like, delayed and all that. Mm-mm. All right, Mike said, thankfully, what he said, Mike said, thankfully they play Nebraska again, and that game will be on national TV and locked already. All right. Nebraska games are okay. Pac-12 channel wasn't on my cable network. Yeah, Pac-12 was not on the East Coast. We had to find it somewhere else. I have Verizon, and that whole Verizon package, there was no Pac-12. You had to go through some different channels to get that game. Wild Dog. Yeah, you should come on. Let's talk about this depth chart, Wild Dog. I need to know where we're looking pretty good on the depth chart. All right. We're looking pretty good on that depth chart because Colorado, I mean, I think we got like 6, if I'm not mistaken. If you take out the guy that was joking about the Amari Award situation, if you take him out, I believe we got like 6 offensive linemen. 6 offensive linemen from like new guys. This is not no like, okay, they're deciding to come or we got issues. No. Like 6 offensive linemen are coming to Boulder, and they're going to be part of the spring game. They're going to be part of spring camp. And spring camp, before you know it, in a couple of months, we're going to be talking about spring camp. Spring camp is going to be like college football is like almost like a well-oiled cycle. All right. Right now, Colorado just ended the season. In a couple of months, now we're talking recruiting. Before you know it, they'll be right back at the school, and we'll be talking about spring camp. Some of y'all should start buying your ticket right now because from New York to Boulder, it's like $20-something. And depending on where you live, if you buy your tickets early, you can go to that spring game. And then the spring game, if it's going to be $10 again, I don't know if it's going to be $10 this time or they're going to up it up to $25, maybe something like that. But so yeah, if you get that, the tickets are not seated, so you basically get your ticket and then you go in there. Wherever you sit, that's where you sit at. But when the season comes, It's gonna be a different story. So we're gonna be talking spring game real soon. Before you know it, we'll be right back in the spring. But yeah, the our depth chart where like there's not that many positions. You got your offensive line, then you got your corners. we're already locked. Let's just stay. Okay, let's just take the offense for a second. You got your wide receivers. All right. We don't need nothing wide receivers. We got some wide receivers, but I don't know that we need any more wide receivers. That's for sure. Okay? I'm going to put this on your screen. Let's go ahead and put this on your screen. All right, cool. So look, to beat some of these teams that you're looking at right now on your screen, to beat some of these teams, these are not shabby teams. I don't want nobody to get it twisted, right? These are not shabby teams at all. To beat some of these teams, we're gonna need that DEPTH that we're talking about. So think about that for a second. All right. Wide receivers, we got some of the best wide receivers in college football. Quarterback, we're gonna have the best quarterback in college football in 2024. All right, forget about that ravioli kid from Nebraska. Nobody cares. Okay, he's coming. He's fresh. They got a good quarterback, but he's gonna need time to develop. Name your best quarterback in college football. I don't know anybody that's gonna be better than Dion Sanders in college football, and that's one of the best. That's one of the most important positions on your team. We got one of the best quarterbacks, if not the best, coming up in 2024. We got that locked. So we got wide receivers. We got the quarterbacks. Okay. We just took care. I'm not even going to get to them yet. Running back room. We got Alton McCaskill. We got if Savion's coming back. I'm not sure. I haven't heard anything yet. You guys let me know. All right. We got Dylan Edwards. We got I can't remember all of our running backs, but we have the best running. We have one of the best running back rooms in college football. We just never used them. But our running backs room is solid. All right? We're just talking about the offense and positions that we need to fill. Okay? So our running backs room, solid. Wide receivers, solid. Solid wide receiver room. Okay? We're talking about how we're going to get down to this list. Think about it. You look at all of these teams right now, go to their bowl games. Who won what? How did it perform? How did it perform? How many of these teams have you watched this weekend? All right? All of these teams are playing, or most of these teams won more than 6, I would say. Maybe not all of them. No, I don't think Baylor won anything. But the teams that are on this list that are supposed to give us a problem, go and look at them. I forget who Oklahoma State played, but I think they got a problem too. Yo, Tim, I thank you for this list. I'm gonna show it soon. All right, I just sent invitations. I'm gonna have a few guys coming on pretty soon. So, if you guys haven't been watching the show, if you're new to the show, I just want to let you know that we've been going down this list that you see right here on your screen. We've been taking this list and we've been looking at these teams closely and saying, okay, in order for us to get to the top 12, in order for us to get in that list, that top 12 list to play in the playoffs, these are the teams that we have to go through. Now North Dakota State, the Bisons, they are football championship subdivision. They are in the same division as Jackson State. They are not FBS. However, I believe they lost their bowl game, but however, they compete for that championship every year. So they are a solid team, but they are not FBS. So I'm not looking at North Dakota as one of our biggest issues and one of our biggest problems. I'm not looking at them for that. Now, I'm not in the same breath. I'm not saying that they're going to be a pushover team. This could be a trap game that we got to be very careful of, but they don't put no fear in me. All right? Not at all. Not at all. Also, Nebraska, we've already beat, but they are getting that Ravioli kid. His name is not Ravioli, but I'm going to call him Ravioli. That going to Riola or something like that. All right? They're getting that quarterback, and I'm not sure that they are going to be able to do if we beat them this year. This is how I think, right? It doesn't mean that we're just going to beat them again next year. The factors that are going to cause us to give me confidence that we can beat them again is the things that we are addressing. So I don't want anybody to think that because I say, hey, we beat them, so we're going to beat them again. That's not how I think, or that's not how we put it. We do here on this channel. Just so if you are new, just so you understand that. All right. And then we got Colorado State. They're ending up, but what we're doing in the transfer portal, being like number one in the transfer portal, it gives us more confidence that we're going to be doing a lot more in that that we're going to be doing a lot better next year for Colorado State. All right. Hey, Bishop, what's up, man? Thank you for joining the show. Thank you for calling in. How you doing today?
Living large and supercharged. One big salute.
Yeah, that's what's up. So, let me see. I'm gonna turn this off.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. You can hear me, right?
Yeah, I can.
All right, cool.
But yeah, I think Coach Prime is building according to the blueprint because he learned a lot from this past year and utilizing his plan and making sure he gets the quality individual necessary to go to the next level.
What do you think about this new linebacker? Or what do you think about our linebackers room now? Because that was one of our biggest issues. That was one of the issues that I felt like we needed to address immediately because we had some pieces on from the other positions that we had. We had some pieces that we were replacing, but as far as the linebackers room, that was one of the cores that I said we needed to replace the entire room. So what do you think? What do you think about how we're addressing or how Coach Prime is addressing that now?
I hear what you're saying, but I would like for us to slow play that because competitive depth is very important if you're going to make a strong run. Because throughout the season, there's a lot of different things that comes up, and you got to have that competitive depth so you don't lose any momentum. So I hear what you're saying, but I'd rather them stack the room, go through this spring game, then start making the cutbacks.
Well, when you say competitive depth, like what do you mean? Because I'm talking about just addressing the issue. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm not making no predictions saying that we're going to thrash everybody. I'm just saying the fact that he's addressing the issues. You see what I'm saying? Because we pretty much didn't have a linebackers room. You see what I'm saying? Now we do.
Right, but remember what you said at first. You wanted to get rid of the linebackers you already have. What they need is, when I say competitive depth, they need some dogs that come in that iron sharpens iron so that they can start growing. Are you following what I'm saying?
Well, the linebackers room was not existent. Like, pretty much, like we had the only person that we could identify was Levante Bentley. The one guy that we had, he left. Marvin Hem, I believe is his name.
Right.
He was replaced by Trevor Woods, and then next thing you know, he jumped into that transfer portal. Trevor Woods is the safety, so he having to come down and jump in our linebackers room. It was almost like a Sean Lewis situation. So it's like Well, dang, you're gonna replace me with a daggone safety. That means I'm not doing my job at all. So I'm out of here. So he's
Yeah, I
gone.
hear you. Well,
But
the thing about it is, we got a whole bunch of wide receivers, but I don't think we need no more wide receivers. We really need to wait until the bowl season is over, because there's going to be a lot more movement in the portal to where we can start addressing what you're talking about as the linebackers. Because you don't want to add just pieces. You want to add competitive pieces that allow you to be competitive. And so iron sharpens iron is the key component.
well, whatever. I don't know that we had iron in the room. We didn't have any room. We didn't have anything at all. So I can't even say we had iron to whatever's coming in. They're going to be sharpening each other. We didn't have no iron. We had what we had some paperweight. I don't know that we had anything to iron to sharpen iron, because they weren't there. They weren't there. But I see DJ, and then I see the Nigerian kid. You know what I'm saying? Those two are giving me a lot of hope. And it's not just two though. It's more than that. So I'm getting a lot of hope from those two. But I also say that at the end of the day, we need to get that corrected, because that's where our pressure from the line is going to be at. That's where our pressure is going to come in at.
And I hear what you're saying. Now, this is where Warren Sapp and all of the linemen, when you're running a defense, you want your linemen to actually cover the gaps so your linebackers can stay clean and make plays along with your secondary. If you can get that where your linemen can cover the gaps and get 2 to 3 yards deep into the backfield and then flow from there, then you'll be a whole lot better, because now run stopping will be a lot easier because your linebackers will be clean, and then your secondary can stay with their people, and you should be able to increase the interception ratio.
Well, so with that being said, I'll share this graphic with everyone so we can understand, like we can see, just comparing like the Big 12. This is where we're going next year. If you look on your screen right now, all right, this is from Tim. Thank you, Tim. So from the SEC, this is on an average, right? For lineman size. Big 12, we got about close to 6'5", 312 pounds,
right,
in the Big 12. So this is on that line. We got to make sure that we are addressing 6'5", 312 pounds for these other teams that we're going to be facing. Now, it was a little bit less in the Pac-12 this year, because we were looking at 6'5", 308, 309 pounds on an average in the Pac-12. So, and if you compare that to the SEC, that's more. They got like maybe 319 to 312 to the Big 12. So we're not playing no SEC team unless we meet them. We meet one of those guys in the national championship.
You're right.
So what it's looking like with the guys that are coming in with the guys that are coming in, we got to make sure that we are at least average, because if we're not average, then what's going to be the difference? It's got to be strength and will, ability, X, Y, and Z. All of those things got to play a factor. What says you?
Okay, so when you say average, you're talking about the actual standard, not the actual play, correct?
Yeah, we're just talking strictly numbers, like the average height, and average weight.
Yeah. Okay. Now, with that, I hear exactly what you're saying, but I also want to emphasize in this moment that the cohesiveness of the actual coaches that are coaching them up, along with the conditioning coach, play a huge part in what you're speaking about, which we have all the components in place now. And now it's all about the buy-in. You need the young man to trust the process and be willing to push past their point so that they go through the fire and can build the truth. And when you build the truth, your blueprint comes alive and you're able to walk it out.
So are you saying that even if you have the average but you don't have the cohesiveness, then it doesn't matter? Is that what you're insinuating?
Right. Okay. Just like let's say, for instance, we have an offensive line, but if we don't have the offensive line coach that knows how to make the adjustments when necessary, or to make the change to go from we're going gap scheme to zone scheme, and knowing, okay, this team, a zone would work better, and we'll kick out. We'll have the tight end kick out. So when we hit that seven hole, our running back can run free. And now you count the numbers. You got 2 versus 4 in that area. So then you should go score. It's all about making sure they understand the whole schematics of the actual game. So that way you understand when you make adjustments, if the coach don't catch it, someone on the field that's coaching up the line will see the numbers and notify, okay, we have a even front versus the odd front, then we know what we need to switch to and make the call.
Did you watch Colorado much this year?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yes, I did.
So what did you see that you felt like that needed a lot of work? What did you see on that, based on what you're saying? What did you see that you feel like they need to address this?
The truth of the matter is they needed a actual coaching staff that was ready to make the necessary adjustments when necessary. It wasn't that you were out of games. You were just not making the necessary adjustments when time came. And because you kept running the same schematics, after 2 to 3 games, I have your schematics down by watching film. Now it's all about building up a repertoire to where I keep you off of my foundation. And that's what I saw, that Colorado just kept the same foundation and just thought, okay, well, the first couple games, it was working real well. Absolutely it was. But when you start getting into the heart of things, that's where people have continuity, and you have film. So continuity with film, you can't just go and run them over. You have to strategically plan and make necessary adjustments to keep the momentum so you can complete the task and win the game.
So a lot of people were kind of like saying, well, we needed to make sure that we had we get them better players. So overall,
Right.
here we are. Like, are you able to see my screen here?
Yeah, I got you.
Oh, okay, cool. So these are some of the offensive players, or some of the players that we're getting. But
Mhm.
I like to look at this offensive line and say, all right, so the offensive lineman Justin is coming in. Excuse me. We got a tight end coming in. We got. Let me just look at the linemen.
And that's huge. Tight end is huge.
Tight end is major, because that's going to give us a little bit of room on that offensive on that line.
Correct.
That's going to give us a little bit of leverage. Offensive tackle Khalil Benson. He's okay. So if we're counting, right, we say Justin will be 1. Then we say Khalil is number 2, right? Because we need at least. Coach Prime says I need to go out there and I need to get at least 8 guys, 7 to 8 guys, solid guys, right?
Right.
We get in a guard in Tyler Johnson. We get in Yakiri, who's a center. So that's what, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm just gonna leave the tight end out for now.
Okay, that'll work.
4, and obviously Jordan Seaton is now on this list.
Correct.
So that's, what's that? 5 or 5? That's 5, right?
That's 5. Since you left off the tight end.
Right. If we leaving out the tight end, that's 5.
Right.
On that offense, like primarily on that offensive line. Now, that's 5 new guys. This is not 5 guys that are adding, you know what I'm saying? These are 5 new guys that are adding to what we already have.
Right.
So let's say we got 5 starters, and then the guys that were already there who were starters that stayed, now we got depth.
True.
So
You're starting to build depth, but understand they haven't come together. The key is when you bring in dogs with those who are aspiring to be dogs. After a while, you have no choice. You have to raise your game, and that's what was missing last year. Is that you had no one to step in that was actually a dog. You have people inspiring to be a dog, but you can't inspire if you don't have someone to to push you past your limits. Are you
right.
following what
So
I'm saying?
that's exactly what we're doing. We're starting to build.
Correct.
We're starting to build that. We're starting to build that line, and like I said in the beginning of the in the beginning of the show, what's important is that we have DEPTH. If we don't have, we're building, we're bringing in a bunch of new guys that whatever we don't know anything about corals. We don't know anything about. There's no hate so far that we understand about. They're not. There's no, Dr. Amy Rucker. How you doing today? We don't know anything about. There's no speeches that we can point to say, oh, okay, these guys have been disenfranchised or somebody has threw them under the bus. These are fresh bodies, fresh minds that have to come into this situation and see this situation for themselves.
Right.
So that's giving me hope to just know I'm not making no proclamations based on ability yet. What I'm saying is the questions have to be first answered before you go into the how effective are they going to be. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's where we start. We start by answering the question. And this is starting to look scary. To me, it's starting to look like, because if you take some of these schools that we got on that I got on your screen, like if you take some of these schools, if you look at them, that nobody had like dynamic players that are like game breakers that we couldn't stick with, even with our disgruntled team that we had. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And the truth of the matter is it's going according to plan. And the simple fact is now uh, what you have offensive line, but what you don't see in the recipe is that you have the defensive line that's going to push them as well, that you have also included. So when you look at that deal, you have people that's not going to let you slack. They're actually going to allow one another to be sharpened. So therefore, when they get on the field, they're ready for the competition because everybody else has already have continuity together and just have to add a couple pieces. We're trying to build a cohesiveness as one. And so you need all of those that's in there. I don't care if they dogs or they're added pieces. At the end, they will be dogs because they have no place because they're getting a second chance. And so, and then with the actual
Somebody said
coach
turn
that
your
they
volume
have.
up, Bishop. Somebody said turn your volume up, Bishop.
How about now? Is that better, y'all?
Oh yeah, you sound much clearer.
Okay, sorry about that. Appreciate you. Big salute. But the simple fact is the first year was just the foundation. And now that you have the foundation, now you can build according to plan because you have a platform from which you can build from. And the truth of the matter is having a good tight end and having a solid line is huge on both sides of the ball.
We need more. I would say, like somebody said, we need more tight ends. But let me say, hold up, who said it? Dario Gray, what up with you? Thank you for joining the show. A Collier, what up? The 5 we brought in plus Tyler Brown and the O-line from Florida. That's 7 new players to add to Bailey in Washington. We don't know what the deal is with Washington. What happened to him? I think he was injured. I think Washington was injured this year.
Yeah,
So,
he was fighting injury, trying to keep playing.
Right. So okay. So we saying that 7 new players that we're adding. You got to say, I guess Tyler is new because he didn't play. So we will be adding 7 new players, and we're looking at we should be looking at Tyler Brown being a center. Now, the good thing about having Tyler Brown being a new person is because he's not so new, and he was presumable. He was presumed to be a starter. And now, if we get Tyler Brown to come and then he doesn't start, he's second string. That only solidifies the depth that we have on that line. What do you think about that?
Correct.
That's exactly what you're seeing too, right?
That's exactly what I'm seeing. And just think about, you guys got a up and coming offensive line coach that has cut his teeth in the Big 12 and has an actual blueprint for you guys to understand each component that you're about to play. And so it's just a matter of them trusting one another and building camaraderie so that they're prepared.
So, oh yeah, there's another player that's coming with from IMG. That's Cash. We didn't count Cash Cleveland.
Yeah, I was just gonna mention that about Cash. Okay, yeah.
So Cash Cleveland is one that we didn't count, but he's a freshman coming in. So is Jordan. So you know what I'm saying? Like I don't know about how the depth is gonna work out. So as far as I don't really lean too much on the freshmen, because freshmen are kind of like they're coming into these group of hyenas, young men who are already, what I'm saying, they're ready for their next jump to wherever they gotta go, and they're gonna be fighting for that position. So if these young men come in and these guys come in and they get playing time, it makes it so much better for us. That's what I look at, because when you go deep into the season, let's just say we go 4 to 5 games into the season and guys start getting nicked up, you want to know that the next guy up is going to be ready to play.
And that's competitive depth. That's what everybody's talking about.
Right. That's the competitive depth that you're talking about. But as you can see it being laid out, these are the answers that I'm talking about Coach Prime is giving. These like he's showing you the pieces, and what we're doing on the show is we're breaking down the pieces to say, okay, hey guys, what do you guys think about these pieces? What do you think about this guy, the contribution that he's bringing from Florida, the contribution he's going to be bringing from IMG? How are these pieces going to fit into the whole scheme of things at the end of the day? And then you're saying that we need to make sure that we bring these guys in so they can sharpen each other.
Right, because understand, if I bring all dogs on the offense, but I bring okay on the defensive line, then they need somebody that's not going to slough off or that can bring the same power they need. So that way, when they get in the game, it becomes secondary and they can dominate and pancake people and open up holes and do the necessary things to score touchdowns when they're passing. All of that plays a part. And a lot of people don't see the totality of both sides of the ball, but you need that, because any team that has made a significant jump to the playoffs have gone one-on-ones. So that way, when you get to the actual games, it's like practice, because you've been going harder in practice than in the game.
Yeah, that's right. So just to answer this Yardman situation, I don't know that the foundation was built incorrectly, because the idea that it was built incorrectly, it's to say that Coach Prime had those 7 guys that he talked about on that interview to say, hey man, I just need a few big guys up front, because he lost a lot of big guys. He lost his O-line before in the spring, in that shuffle. So I cannot co-sign that statement to say it was built incorrectly, because Coach Prime did not have those guys. He didn't have the young men, but he knew he had them. He knew that he needed them. He knew that he needed them, but he didn't have them. So he made that known in the season to say, hey, we need to make sure that we get these, and then we'll be fine. What do you think about that?
Yeah. Now there is some truth in there, but understand, you had young men that were trying to go through a season. And so with that said, you have to understand the idiom of the individual players that are playing. And once you get punched in the mouth and you don't have a coaching staff that's making the necessary adjustments, you start second guessing, and then you start trying to press, where if you're thinking on the field, you're already at a disadvantage.
So you think there's a lot of thinking on the field and not just dudes just doing what they do naturally?
After Oregon, absolutely.
Your audio is cutting out. I'm not sure. I can't hear you.
Okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, after Oregon, absolute.
Or guys was just. You think it was because of leadership?
I was thinking it's a combination. Understanding that once you have a bad game, you got to learn how to wash it, but you also got to learn to pick the necessary ingredients out of there of gold nuggets, so that when you go the rest of the season, it doesn't happen again. And I didn't see that.
Okay. Stretch It Out Entertainment says this whole team is overhyped again. 7-5 at best. These are some of the questions that I like to answer on the show. When are we overhyping this team? Because I would like to say we're not overhyping this team unless they're talking about other channels or other shows that they're watching where people are, overly excited. That's why I like to do a show like this, because I want people who are out there, the fan base, to really get a strong sense of the pieces that we're getting. You see what I'm saying? Like, and also talk about the positions that we're talking about. You see what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, if you're saying that we're overhyped, then would the overhyped or the overhypeness would it be based on saying, okay, Florida State linebacker DJ Lundy is not a solid contribution? You see what I'm saying? Like when I take and I spent this amount of time on each position, and then the pieces that are being brought to fill in that position, it's me trying to say, let's look at it more critically so that we can take away that stench of, it's being overhyped. You feel me?
Yeah. I hear exactly what you're saying, and both you and Stretch are hitting some points, and you're coming at it from two different angles. And also, there's a lot in the content creators that it's so many that's in the gumbo that you can't get the actual flavor of what's going on. And each of them are they have their own fandom outlook, and respectively so. But the simple fact is that we know Coach Prime is doing it the right way, because he said he admitted that, hey, I messed up the first year. I should have been more hands-on. I own up to it, and I'm taking a more active role. And when you get a coach to be, be able to do that.
Say that again, because when he said what? Say that again.
Yeah, when he was in his interview, he was saying that he understood in this first season that he could have took a more active role, leadership role. And
what interview are you talking about? Because I didn't see that interview.
Which one was it? With Stephen A.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't watch that whole that was a recent one too. That's a recent one.
Yeah, it's a recent one, but understanding that, what that's telling me, that he understood that he needs to keep his fingerprint all over it. Meaning that that's why you notice he's not rushing when he's getting these young men. He's making sure he's building according to plan, and that each component is a necessary piece, and not just something because it looks good and I want them right there. They have to fit the current narrative, and that's what he learned from last year, is making sure that he cover all bases for as the narrative, so that way you can start building the cohesiveness, because you are building according to your blueprint.
Let me bring Wild Dog in to join the conversation. Wild Dog, happy holidays, brother. Thank you for joining the show again. I always appreciate you coming on. How you doing today, man?
Hey, happy holidays. Happy holidays. And I'm just here to have you back, man.
For sure. Hey, guys, turn down your volume for me, please, if you can, because I'm getting an echo. And I did my extensive research. If you can see on your screen, you're seeing your names on the screen. You see that? You see how I'm learning, man?
I see that. Yes.
Names, right?
Big salute. I see.
Good job.
Yo.
Good job.
I'm coming up. And guess what? Just to snitch on myself a little bit, there was a little button that I had unpressed that I just needed to repress.
Okay. At least so they won't get us mixed up. They won't get us mixed up being twins and everything.
Exactly. We had a bunch of just blank buttons on the screen. Nobody knew who was who. So Wild Dog. So based on what Bishop just said about the comments that Coach Prime made, what do you make of that?
I mean, it's just about self-awareness. I'm sure he got feedback that he needed from his mentors, and he was just again being transparent, open, and honest about it. He needed to literally be more directly involved in certain situations. Trusting people, but also being a little bit more proactive about what it is they need to be doing and how they need to be doing it. So I think moving forward, that's a good sign. Because in the Sean Lewis, like I said before, in the Sean Lewis situation, it's like either let the man finish the season, or I'd have preferred you pull the trigger much sooner. And that's kind of, for me, that's kind of, he didn't say it directly, but for me, that's one of the things I believe he's talking about.
So I didn't see the interview, but based upon what you guys are saying, that some of the things that we talked about on this show, where we was like, Coach Prime really like, I don't know if you guys can let me know, we can clarify for the people that are in the chat. Was the comment based on the coaching decisions allowing guys to 100% have the freedom to pretty much do what they needed to do? Was that based on that, or was he talking about something else? If you guys can clarify that for me.
Go ahead. The Stephen A was basically asked him what the type of season you had. You have 4-8. What was the one thing that you see you could have done better? Was the actual question that transparency came out.
And then could you please, Bishop, tell me the answer again that he gave, if you can please.
Yes. He was just saying, well, you can definitely see that if I had to do it all over again, I would be more hands-on, which he was saying this season, I'm taking a more hands-on role and making sure the coaches and the players, they have that. I have a better open communication with them.
Oh, okay. So will we take that to say that was on and off the field, and in practice and on field decisions? Is that something we can read into it clearly?
Oh, that's no doubt. There's no doubt on that.
Yeah, because Stephen A. kind of left it as kind of an open-ended question, about kind of a generalized question about, everything that's gone on for the season. What would he have done differently? And then he gave a overall general response about him being more personally involved. But again, year one, I mean, everything's new. So many new personnel and staff having to shake hands and kiss babies. It was a lot going on, So for him to say, put more on himself, that he needed to be much more involved, get up earlier, stay up later to do more. I mean, like again, I said, it's very self-aware. People like to talk about, Coach Prime needs to be humble or this and that, but it's like you don't understand the fundamentals of how the man is built. You know what I'm saying? We all share the same fundamental foundation, so we get how you can be, you can have your wings spread and be soaring and flying, yet be grounded all at the same time. It's not a contradiction or oxymoron. The man is extremely humble, and in that response, in answering that question, and in his response, he's illustrating that he's self-aware and he's humble. And like I said, he has his mentors, like he's expressed. He has his, seasoned head coaches that, he calls up, that he's in contact with, not just his old peers, but he has people that are his mentors, at least 3, but 2 on the regular that I'm aware of that he's in contact with,
Yes, so I guess the reason why I wanted to understand that because of this line of questions that I got for you guys, because we talked about this and we kind of touched on it a lot because at times during the season there were situations where we felt like Coach Prime, like, what's going on? Like, you know what I'm saying? Step in, do something. When we're looking at situations where you're telling us one thing in the press conference and you're the head coach, we want you to step in. We want you to say, okay, let's run the ball. Okay, let's do this. Let's do that. We don't want to just hear, oh, this person's not doing this. We're going to make changes. Coach Prime, do something. Like, we need so what I'm hearing now is like him saying, okay, I'm going to be making sure that if I come to this press conference next year and I tell y'all something, just know that I had an input and I didn't just let people just do whatever they were going to do.
Yeah, because last year, Harry, there was many times you were like, what are we going to do about Shador? Why aren't we running the ball? Why aren't we do something? You were like, Coach Prime, do something. Coach Prime, do something.
Yeah.
But especially on the offensive side, Coach Prime is trusting his panel. He's trusting his OC. He's trusting his quarterback, So it's layers to the things where sometimes it's just like you just have to use your veto card and just use your veto and be like, no, we are doing this and we're doing it now, But again, it's year one, right? Like I said, everything is brand new. All the personnel, he brought people over, but a lot of people personnel he was dealing with was brand new. So you have to feel that out. You know what I mean?
What do you think about that, Bishop?
And then even trying to determine between, like, even in the offense, like, what was a call? Like, a call was made, but then even Shador making an audible based on what he's seeing at the scrimmage line. And that's where the communication and understanding between the quarterback and the OC is critical. And that's why he spoke about the communication between him and Pat Shurmur is good, and the communication between Pat Shurmur and Shador is good, because that's fundamental. If you don't have that, you got jack.
Facts. Simple fact is I believe they ran into quicksand, to be honest. Everything was in the beginning was flowing for them, and the coaches got comfortable. And when it came to testing time, they weren't ready for the test.
Yeah. And that's where I was expressing the other day where, player leadership comes in as well. I know we talk about, you got the athletic director, Rick George, you got head coach, Coach Prime, you got all the staff, but, having been an athlete, multiple sport athlete, I mean, player leadership is a huge factor, right? So that's where you've heard me echoing about, we got Tyler Brown coming up. He's leadership for the offensive line. When your quarterback is a leader for your offensive line, you got a problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then where typically, your middle linebacker or linebacker is your quote-unquote quarterback or primary leadership for your defensive team, right? We didn't have that last year. We didn't have that. So if you're missing that, these are big holes. And if you want to win the Big 12, if you want to go 12-0, these hypotheticals that we've been discussing, you got to have this, right? Because people want to talk about, we need more OT, we need more DN, we need more tight end. If you don't have leadership, you have nothing. You're literally working on quaky ground. You're going to have injuries. Guys are going to get banged up, and coaches can coach. They can call the right plays. They can say the right things. But that's why you need on each level, you have to have player leadership. Maybe not necessarily a player coach, but you have that strong leadership within your ranks.
So speaking of leadership, what about Panda? I'll be with you in a second. Panda is going to be coming on the panel in a second, guys.
Okay.
Dion needs more diversity in his recruiting. Are we talking about white guys? I don't know what the diversity question is. If it doesn't improve, the media is going to use it against him. Are we talking about white guys? Because that's the only diversity that we could be talking about at this point. Because you know how right now America is dealing with diversity and inclusion in the workplace. So Keegan Park University, if you can let me know, if you just talk, let's just say it. Are you talking about white guys? Because I don't know what you mean.
Okay, Harry. It's like, Coach Prime is really, really even getting more strict. He's about to get comfortable. You know, forgive me, but what is it? Smart, fast, tough, disciplined with character.
Yeah.
Okay. Smart, fast, tough, disciplined with character.
Don't do it. Don't do it, Wild Dog.
Smart,
Don't do
fast.
it. Don't do it, Wild Dog.
That's coming through the gate. If you can't get it, right? Like some of these guys are like, oh, Coach Prime needs to go after this player or that player. Man, I could look at that player and be like, I don't care if it's a 5-star plus or whatever. Coach Prime don't want them because they're not smart. Oh, man, it's about football and wins and W's. Man, it's more football and life is about way more. You know what I'm saying? Now, this is coming from a nerd, but still, go by what Coach Prime said, right? If you're a quarterback or lineman, he's looking for a 3.6 or higher, right?
Okay.
If you if you're on the defensive line or something like that, where you a dog at edge, he'll give you some room, but that's still a 3.0. So those are parameters. He don't care if you come from the Philippines. Those are the parameters, dog. You know what I'm saying? That's it.
So it's not. We're not. Color don't matter. Is that right, Bishop? Bishop, does color matter to you?
No, man. Look. I'll take. If you got another young Coach Saban, I don't care what color he is. If he has the knowledge and he can answer all of those foundations, then bring him on.
I mean, look at the two cats he brought up from walk-ons, right? He pulled up Trevor Woods. Get out of here, man. That's on tape. See? Oh, they record too much. They doing too much. No, it's on record. It's on the archives. Trevor Woods acknowledging you, bringing you up. Trevor Woods, utility, doing everything the coaches asked you to do. This and that, blah, blah. You know? Okay, we can put you into safety. Hey, Trevor, we need help at linebacker. Can you do this for us? Yeah, coach, whatever you need me to do. Come on, get out of here, man.
He's your token white boy.
Then the brother with the dreads, who's a walk-on, right? Come on, dog. Coach Prime pointing him out, calling him out. Hey, man, you a dog. I see you. I appreciate you.
You're not talking about Charlie Offer, though, are you?
Yeah, we're gonna have you play. We're gonna have you start this. Come on, dog, get out of here. Then I heard that Coach Prime did a commercial with him to help pay for a school. Man, get out of here. No, that's why.
Oh, wait. I'm pushing back. Wild Dog, I'm pushing back. Man. It's too many records. Let me bring Panda on. Let me bring Panda on, but I'm pushing back. And it's only because I've made this argument where I don't want to see no 5 ensemble movie with 5 whites, 1 black, or 4 whites and 1 black. That's what you're describing right now. You're saying you're plugging out the 2 white guys, and you're saying, "Yo, we go." No, don't answer yet. Yo, Panda, what do you think about that, man? Is Wild Dog wilding out right now?
I mean, if you have a chance, pull up Colorado coaching staff. Is a blended coaching staff. So
we're talking about recruiting. We're not talking about coaching.
Yeah, but the statement, I'm responding to everything in one, Harry. The statement that this person made is a direct correlation to that frame of mind.
Let me remind people on your screen. Dion needs more diversity in his recruiting. If it doesn't improve, the media is going to use it against him. That's the statement that we're talking about. Go ahead.
Yeah, so when it comes down to it, if I'm looking for dogs and certain people display the tendencies because they psychological evaluation involved when you sit down to do the one-on-one with a coach. You know who's hungry. You know what elements create that hunger. And you pick based on talent, the character of the individual, and if they have the increment of getting dirty down and fighting for their dream. And unfortunately, a lot of athletes who excel come from the southern region, which is the reason he said that is the pool in which he wants to go hunting.
There's no white guys in the southern region?
Florida, no, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying.
Texas.
I'm just
Florida.
saying.
Texas.
Name all the white states for me so I can go plug some guys.
I mean, at the end of the day, the big guys are in Texas. We could keep going. You see what I'm saying? But depending on where you playing, you might want some guys from Michigan. if you playing more in another region, so when that cold time come, you look for guys in that way who already accustomed to the weather. It is a structure and science of how you go after players. I just think that person was reaching, and I just want to smack his hand back, like, get your hand out of the jar. You know what I mean? Because you're reaching. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, Panda. We know Harry B is Liberian. I can't help but notice your accent.
Yeah, I'm from Trinidad and Tobago. You know what I mean?
Okay, thank you. So this dude talking about specific, but see, his question is off base because he's looking at specific diversity. Coach Prime is international. What is his name?
Whose name?
I don't miss.
Huh?
Mata.
You said
Mata.
I'm not. Yeah, Mata. I don't miss.
But
who was he born in? Who was he? Was he born in South America, raised in Mexico, and
between
then
Brazil and Mexico.
Play ball. Then the punter is Australian. Get out of here. The team is international. You over here talking about some coloration. You know what I'm saying? Some kind of
doing that thing.
Kindergarten color tree. Prime CU is international. Get out of here.
Okay,
but at the same time, when he gambled,
and those are starters, by the way, Harry. Those are starters.
But
the crazy thing about it is, a lot of the problems we inherited came from an offensive coordinator who represents the idea that this guy is trying to bring up, who wasn't loyal. And we saw that after the Oregon game. And then Coach Prime, he really wanted, let's give it to him. So Coach Prime goes on a brother program and says in code what the problem was. So if you don't like it, he was saying, hey, I need people I can trust.
Okay, y'all playing that game, but y'all know I don't play that game. I'm an equal opportunity type of guy here. If I see any disparity, I don't care if it's white or black. If I see an ensemble and it's 85% white, I'm gonna say, hey man, let's mix it up. Now I'm seeing an ensemble. I don't want to stay on this line because I have a lot more important stuff to talk about on this show. But anyway, I'm seeing a disparity, so I'm on the side of that guy. He needs to.
What percent is the NFL?
He needs to sprinkle in more white guys. Okay, stop playing with me.
What percent is the NFL?
I'm not going there, and I got a little bit other things to talk about right here.
Keep moving the goalposts. Keep moving the goalposts. Keep moving the goalposts.
This goalpost is fire.
He didn't want to talk about the CU staff. Now he don't want to talk about the NFL. Keep moving the goalposts.
We're moving on. We got more important things to discuss. I know the juicy stuff. I get it. I understand. I need to have more white guys, okay? I can't fight for one person. I need to fight for everybody. But on your screen, gentlemen, we have the Colorado 2024 linebackers room. This is where we gotta put the tooth to the nail to the thing, and we gotta do dog or not, or we need to keep shopping. You guys let me know. Let's discuss this.
Okay, so are we including Trevor Woods, who normally is in the safety room, in this linebacker room?
Oh, so we don't. Waldo, stop shaking your hair. Relax. Let's get into it first. So
put a star by Trevor Woods' name.
That's an asterisk. There's an asterisk on Trevor Woods. Okay, I can't put it on live because this is an already made graphic. But
no, understood.
Trevor Woods is going to be, hopefully we get enough dogs, because some people say that he was not fast enough to get to the quarterback
because he's white.
I think that's his white. Bro, I think it's because he's white. White guys are not. White guys white men can't jump. White men can't jump. Now y'all gonna get us in trouble.
Trevor Woods is balling out, and everybody want to trash him. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
Let me let everybody know.
Balling out. I'm just
wait. Let me bring my face back. Let me make this statement with my face on screen so everybody can know. I was one of the first black creators to make at least 3 Trevor Woods video, bigging him up, and people kept telling me that he could not play. I was one of the ones making Trevor Woods videos and saying this guy's gonna be a dog and he's gonna start. And I
I
said he was
remember
going to
talking
start.
trash to you about that too. I remember telling you like,
Were
Harry.
you one of those people?
Yeah, I was like, Harry, nah, man.
You
He
said he
ain't gonna
wasn't
be
going to
able
start,
to
didn't you?
adjust. So I must say I was wrong on that.
Thank you. All right, so so I just want everybody to relax. Just understand that this is not a biased channel. If you hear me fighting for black people, if there's any type of disparity, you will also hear me fighting for white people. That's just the type of character that I have. Okay, but anyway, let's go back to our list. Let's get serious, guys. Race don't matter as long as they are a dog. I don't care if you are a dog. If you can play, right? But this list is disparaging to me. This list is not encouraging to me. And I'm going to tell you guys why. Because we already know about Levante Bentley. We know about Trevor Woods. We know about Damari Kennedy, Jeremiah Brown, Kofi Barracks, Morgan Pearson, Victory Johnson, right? And then we just added Lundy. But I think we're missing somebody. We're missing the African guy.
We're missing the Wade brother, outside linebacker.
Oh, okay. We're missing at least two people. I got this off of Twitter.
Yeah.
Unless those players are not going to be playing in 2024, but I think we're missing the African kid, Nwazo, whatever his name is, right? That's a linebacker, right? The African kid.
We got
his name.
I know we got a defensive end from your pitcher, and we got a defensive tackle.
We are missing the
your Afro ballers.
The transfers from the transfer from Houston. His name is Cheto.
Defensive tackle.
Yep. Well, I see defensive tackle. He's not going to play linebacker.
And then you got a defensive end. So they're both defensive line, I believe. Yes, they're both defensive line.
Oh, okay, but I thought specifically that that Cheto was going to be a linebacker. I think Cheto was going to be a linebacker.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think we're missing that guy. So let's say we add
McCoy.
Cheto. What's that? Somebody said McCoy?
McCoy. Do we have that?
Who's McCoy?
The chat is. I mean, we're live, so but the chat is on. The chat is on point. I mean, I've been in the chat live, so yeah. So I trust Indian Carter. So
yeah,
let me
trustworthy.
TJ McCoy. Tajay McCoy. TAJE and then McCoy.
All right, so let's look at this. You guys, are you seeing this list right here? Anybody can say yes or no. Are you guys seeing this list?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nowadays, you have two things up at the same time, though.
Oh, what do I have up? Wait. Oh, okay. Let me get that off the list. Let me get that off the screen. Give me a second. All right, cool. This one right here. Y'all seeing this? You guys are seeing the signing day list, the signee roster?
Yes. Yeah. We were.
Yeah.
Now we are.
Now we are.
Okay. So these are the guys that we're adding as far as let me see. Do we have any what was the linebackers? Because those African kids were on here, right?
I don't think this is fully updated.
Well, I mean, this guy just signed, so this should be updated. DJ Lundy? He just signed on Christmas Day, right?
Right.
Yeah.
He ain't signed, he committed. He's not signed, he committed.
He committed, you said?
Yeah, he got to sign in the next cycle. Remember, the window ended on Friday.
Right.
He committed on Christmas Day.
All right, but he's on this list. All right. So
I mean, him being on the list is like they're not as afraid for him. It's like it's a guarantee.
Yeah.
But he's not officially signed technically.
That shows one Wade brother, but not the other. Yeah.
Right. That's what I was gonna say.
Okay, but you guys see this list, right? This graphic that's on top of this one, right?
Yeah, that's the Afro ballers. The guy from Pitt, he's a defensive end. He's an edge rusher.
Okay. What
and
about
then the guy from Houston is defensive tackle.
Defensive tackle, right? Yeah.
Okay.
So inside defensive line. So
all right, but then we know about this. Let me take this off the screen. Give me 1 second. Let's take this off the screen.
You're learning the
I'll
program pretty fast, though.
But Panda, when you look at that, right? When you look at that, I mean, especially the Big 12, somebody was saying, I think mostly we're going to run a 4-2. You know what I mean? We're going to run a 4-2-5. So against
You
a
see
lot of
the,
these Big 12 teams who are leaning heavy on the passing, we're only going to be running 2 outside linebackers.
I mean, we can do with another. But you see, I think what we're looking at doesn't include who they're shooting for it after the bowl games are finished.
Right.
You
But
see what
I'm
I'm
just
saying? So
I'm just saying, people thinking we need a 12-man deep. I'm that's what I'm trying to get with it. It's like, do we really need a 12-man deep when we're going to be running mostly a 4-2-5?
no, you don't.
We will run a 4-3, but that's not going to be like as consistent as we would normally be running a 4-2-5. It looks like going into Big 12, and then of course teams that are going to be heavy run. We go head to head with Nebraska, then yeah, that's going to be a 4-3 for the most part. But you see what I'm saying? So you don't necessarily need a 12 deep linebacker. You know what I'm saying? You don't necessarily need a 12
you're
deep.
gonna run into the problems of people being disgruntled if you go deep. You know what I'm saying? So no.
I'd rather have a Georgia and Alabama problem. let
But
them
I'm
be
just saying,
disgruntled.
right now the list you showed is plenty. You take out Woods, you add the Wade brother, that's plenty.
I think we good there,
That's
especially
plenty.
having DJ there to really stop the run. Like
Yeah.
he just need one other person, and then what that does is give the safety some strong balance in terms of if they want to check out and throw.
Because right now we're
So
sitting at 8.
Wild Dog, before you say that, I'm gonna put this to the panel again, because earlier somebody said this team is being hyped again. All right. So when we discuss these things, I want people that are in the chat, I want the fan base and people that are going to be watching this video after we finish live streaming, when they come for information, for buff information, to make sure that they get solid information. One of the biggest questions on that defensive or on the defense, we couldn't stop the run. And these are the linebackers that we are presenting to these people now. Are we saying that you're saying that this is good? I'm not as satisfied because I only see 2 guys that I feel like are solid, but the rest are kind of all right because we saw them play already and they couldn't stop the run. How do you guys feel about this list? Give me your not so Colorado fan base, you know what I'm saying? Give me your real take, your most critical take on this room right here, please.
I think
Let's start with Panda.
Coming from
We'll start with
last year,
Panda, then we'll go with Bishop.
I think coming from what they came from last year with the additional pieces and the coaching adjustment, I think we're going to see a difference, and we're going to see a dramatic difference. Especially we can shift DJ into the leadership role as far as the communication goes, because what happened in the past, Shiloh was communicating for the inside, which was crazy. I don't think we understand. He was controlling the defense from safety.
That's a problem.
That is insane. That is literally insane. If you go back and look at the film, they will turn around and look at Shiloh to figure out even what the play was, because they were terrible at even doing film. And I believe with where coach is and that slap that he received in his face with the season performance and who he is as a winner and that dog that he is, that ain't happening anymore. So if you're not watching film, you're not seeing that feel. So the adjustments that I think is being added, and him truly having a real base to build upon, meaning that you was here before, you understand the style now, you know what my culture and what I expect is, and then I have coming in SAP to teach you the technique. Because one thing we don't think about SAP is he actually likes to do technique, like the physical, do it this way, your hand motion this way. And I think that's healthy for some of the kids who may not have had the technical part, and they were so athletic that it passed them through the system. It's like kids who can't read. They're able to go through the system just because they trying to get people to pass out. And I think a lot of people were so talented that they went through the system. So when they in college and they facing new opposition and they facing different playbooks and different schemes, it's harder for them to adjust, and they took longer to adjust. And I think coming into it, I think coach probably looked at it like, okay, these guys are professionals because they made it to D1. But that we saw on the technical side, they were poor on the technical side. Forget the positions they were in, forget the play calling, adjusting your football IQ to know, okay, it's a run, let me track. They were poor with even tracking. So that has nothing to do with coaching. Your instinct, your football instinct to track was non-existent.
All right, let me hear what Bishop got to say about this room. So
now I hear what Panda's saying, but there's only a little bit I would change, because your foundation of the schematics comes from your coaches. You have to have a dog that can able to execute, but understand being able to be a cog in that defense. You got to have people that understand their role and stay within that role. Is when you try to go outside of that role, you open up gaps that leads to us not being able to succeed. So that's the only thing I would. Go ahead.
Say the last piece over because you cut out.
Okay. It might be my phone. You hear me better now?
Yeah.
Okay. What I was saying is the only thing I would tinker is that understand. I hear what you're saying about having the people, the kids on the ground to be able to run the scheme, but you have to have coaches that have enough of a knowledge to be able to give them enough knowledge so they're not thinking. And that's where the continuity comes in, and the competitive depth would be built. Because if I have a player that's thinking, we're already behind the schedule, because you're trying to worry about if I'm in the right place, what do I do in this with this scheme? Okay, they make an audible. All of that is playing, and yet the other team is about to snap the ball. You have to already have that in your repertoire, so you're just playing the game, and that's what speeds up the game.
So you see that's coaching, or both coaching and player IQ?
Yeah, both. You need both.
All right, Wild Dog. So let's get your opinions, and then I got a tweet that Coach Prime just sent out, or he had out, and I want to discuss that. Go ahead. So go ahead, give us your. Oh, you already give us your thought on that room.
Yes, right. I'll try to be quick because Bishop and Panda really kind of came at both ends. But let me again reiterate: do not underestimate player leadership. We have to have a leader, a captain.
You've been driving that that lately, though.
On defense. So the coaching was there. It's been verified. When they examined it, Coach Kelly was on point. We got to have leadership. You got to have that quarterback for the defense out there in the field, seeing what they're seeing and calling it real time, like Bishop was talking about. And then with Panda, so what Panda's talking about, I feel like take out Woods, and then to be honest, usually ask me to be 100% honest and brutal, Lundy hasn't signed. So take out Lundy, take out Woods. I mean, I feel like we're on par. A little bit of shaky ground because, the Wade kid can play, but is he going to be the leadership we need? Right?
So I'm going to give on that list though. Why is he not on?
He's committed. He and his brother's committed. They're both committed. You got Destin Wade and you got Keaton Wade. I believe it's Keaton Wade.
Committed and signed is two different things, Harry.
Well, signed. I'm talking about signed. I'm excluding Lundy and I'm excluding Trevor Woods from the linebacker core when I'm looking at it, right? Because I'm being brutally honest about it.
You talking about Keaton? You talking about this kid right here, right? You guys can see my screen?
Yeah, Keaton Wade. Yeah.
This kid right here, right?
That's the key. If Lundy doesn't sign and come on board, is he gonna be our leader? Now he might be a dog, but we need a leader, right? This is correlating both to what Panda and Bishop was talking about. We need a leader.
Okay.
So,
all right, hold that thought real quick.
So moving forward with 2024, I think if for Wade to be a leader, he needs somebody like Lundy to come through. And if you're going to keep Trevor Woods in the linebacker core, he's going to need somebody like Lundy to help him make the turn in becoming a linebacker, if that makes sense. No disrespect to coaching or development, but you got to have.
Let's add this. Let's add this to the conversation.
I would say this though.
Panda, wait. Let's add this to the conversation.
Say this real quick. Let me say
no. There's nothing quick about you. Wait, you gotta wait. No, let add this to the conversation. You can take this. Let's add this to the conversation. This is what Coach Prime tweeted. Dang, I see the portal doing the bankroll bounce. Just when I thought Santa was on his way back to the North Pole, he dipped off. Santa, please drop another DT, defensive tackle, CB, cornerback, linebacker, and one more pass rusher to Boulder. I believe, Santa. I believe. All right, go ahead, Panda. Add that to your comment.
I mean, Coach Priman dropping that out if it's already not cooking. So we understand his playbook now. we believe now. He's not putting that out unless that already signed up. He's just being cocky about it now. You know what I mean? He already got that in the pot already.
Play with us again. So
yeah, he already got that in the pot already.
Because I heard the SAP is coming, but I'll leave it at that. I have to leave it at that.
So look, a defensive tackle, a cornerback, a linebacker, and one more pass rusher. Is this like the prescription that we're describing here, so that we're not? Because
we literally talked about that.
Huh?
We just talked about that.
Yep.
This is kind of on par of what we've been, discussing, right?
But that was yesterday, right? So Christmas brought him the linebacker already.
You said what was yesterday? This is today.
Oh, okay.
December 20th.
That's 12.
I feel the Lundy.
12:23 p.m.
Yeah, Lundy hasn't signed. I feel the linebacker he's talking about is Lundy. But he has to sign. He has to actually come. So we're not counting our chickens before they hatch.
I would say he needs one more. If you guys are saying that this is already in-house and that's the reason he's putting it out there, you don't think he needs one more? Why are you always trying to give Coach Prom this thing? I don't get it. Like, if he's saying it, right? Or no?
And then I heard a SAP is coming. So I think the DT is based on what Panda said, and I'm gonna tag on to what I've heard. A DT is already set to come. Or
another one, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because we have a DT already on board, right?
Well, we got a few of them.
Yeah.
So, but I'm talking about a SAP. We're talking about a dog.
Warren SAP.
Not just a depth chat.
Oh, okay. So
when I say a SAP is coming, I'm talking about a dog.
When you say a SAP, you're talking about a game changer.
Acronym for a dog defensive tackle.
A game breaker, a game changer.
And my understanding, SAP is working on that. So a SAP is coming. But people like, oh, SAP. No, he's got his degree. He's doing whatever, and his influence is already taking shape. His influence is already impacted the guys who have committed and signed.
So he's not coming empty-handed. He's not just coming with a degree. He's coming with with some bodies.
My understanding that a SAP is coming.
Okay, you always talking these codes, and you're not gonna give us anything. But
hey, Coach Prime put a DT on his list, so that DT,
there you go.
What Panda said, is coming.
All right, so we got a Quinn Barnes who's already on the list. And let me just remind everybody, please. Listen, let me go down the list right here. We got Cheto. Cheto's in the house. That's part of that Nigerian connection, that African connection. Cheto's on that list. We got a defensive end. He's part of that Nigerian connection. Okay, so if you are a fan or if you are a part of this fan base, you watch this show for the information, because I know that people are going to say, we're overhyping the team, or you don't really get solid information that tells you this is what's necessarily happening, that's why I do the show this way. Okay? We can deal with all of the juicy stuff that's happening with his girlfriends and all that other stuff, but you need to know how is the season going to look when you start watching next year. When you start watching next year, you would thank us for doing the show this way, because you would say, oh, we talked about this guy, we talked about that guy. What are the defensive, like, if you look at the linebackers room, I need at least one more. Because when Coach Prime is talking about that rusher, are we talking linebacker or are we talking about just edge rusher?
Edge.
You guys can answer that question.
Nah, I'm with Bishop on that. I think he's talking edge.
Do we know for sure, like, who was? Do y'all know who our edge rushers was this year? I mean, last year? What, this year?
We didn't have any edge rushers last year because we didn't get to the quarterback. So let's not disrespect the position like that. We had some people playing the role, and we are grateful for that. You know what I mean?
So I'll ask this, I'll put this out there. Remember we talked about certain positions allow other positions to do their jobs better. I'll put this out there. You guys can let me know. The fact that now we're having more well-rounded and filling all of these positions, do you guys feel that people won't have to overcompensate with their job, and that should make us overall better? Is that would that be something to say?
Absolutely. I'm seeing it all over the board where we got, depth coming in, where we had guys, one thing is, I think having utility players is great as far as your depth and versatility on how you execute your offense and defense, right? But you can't rely on that. You know what I mean? Trevor Woods being able to cover in and come in as a linebacker is absolutely wonderful. But having to rely on him to start as linebacker is horrible. Does that make sense? Right? Sliding in
somebody patch.
I mean,
sliding in Michael Harrison into tight end, you know what I'm saying? Sliding him in quietly as tight end because he has great hands is absolutely wonderful to have, right? But relying on a wide receiver to start at tight end is no, right? Having Bishop being able to come in the Rick Ross formation, you know what I'm saying? For the goal line is a wonderful asset, but Bishop on the O-line at any other time is horrible. You know what I'm saying? That's a horrible situation to be in. So it's pros and cons. You really should and want and have utility players, right? And utilize them.
What is Bishop's actual position?
Where you have to rely on them,
Panda, what was your question?
I was asking, what is Bishop's actual position? Because he was going for tight end at one point. He played like 3 different roles last season. So what is his actual position?
He's athletic. He's big, but he's an athlete.
He's on that defensive line.
Yeah. But
Bishop is on defense. But he was so big and so explosive. We needed help on that offensive line, somebody to protect your door. So they say, all right, let's put him out. Let's try him out here.
Yeah. But Bishop is clearly a utility player. He has hands.
I mean, he played special teams too.
Yeah, but if you put Bishop at tight end and throw him a pass, yeah, he'll be able to catch it, turn and run with it. I'm just saying he's an athlete. Not all athletes have to look like Travis Hunter. You know what I mean? Yeah,
that's right. And this new kid that we're bringing in is also the same way. The Florida kid, the DJ Lundy.
Lundy, trust me, if Lundy gets an interception or a fumble recovery, trust me, he's going to get the ball to run in for short yardage, first down or touchdown. You're going to reward him. You're going to reward him on one side or the other. You know what I'm saying? And then trust me that if he's being a dog on defense, right, like Travis, he's going to get his carries and his touches on offense. You know what I mean?
They use him on offense too. They use Lundy on offense as well.
Yeah.
So,
but you know, I was just saying how Coach Prime operates.
Because I look at Bishop in high school. He also played tight end too. So
your audio is cutting out, Panda. Can you hear me, Panda? Wild Dog, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Panda,
Okay,
you might have to leave the studio and come back in.
Right, Panda, you might have to log out. Are you seeing the clip that I'm playing of Jordan Seaton?
Yes, sir.
This kid looks like a problem, man. I ain't gonna. I know we've been saying, especially me and you, been saying, if he comes in and starts, we don't need him to start. If he's a true freshman, this kid looking like he about to be a starter, man.
Yeah.
What I'm looking at here, his size and his tenacity.
Because I'm looking for him to earn his spot. I'm not looking for him to earn his starting. This is why I'm looking at it. I'm looking for him to earn the starting spot, not necessarily open the season. But that's just me. You know what I'm saying? For me, it would look much better. He's a straight up 5+ dog, right? You know what I'm saying? He's going to come to compete. If he has to compete for a starting position, that looks wonderful for us. You know what I'm saying? The fact that he's signed, he's coming, what's a win for us, period. You know? But if he has to, work his through the experience that we've got coming up to earn a spot, that looks like we're in a much better situation because we're going to have 2 All-Americans, you know what I'm saying? And this line fortifying. So, but let's just see what happens. So, but like you mentioned the other day, it's like if he somehow, we'll have visibility. That's one thing, we'll have visibility. We'll see how hard he's working and how he works his way up. You know what I'm saying? And if he's starting by default, that's what I want to say. If he starts by default, that's not good. Let me put it that way. If he starts by default, that's not good. But if they're battling it out and iron sharpens iron, and he just happens to come up to the top, that's
Clarify what you mean, because I don't know that everybody understands what you mean by if he starts by default, that's not good. Like, clarify that, because that may not come across the way you're thinking. I just want to make sure that you understand.
Yeah, because I was
understand what you're saying.
Because I found those words trying to clarify what I meant by having a freshman in rotation is good, but having to rely on a freshman to start is not such a good look, right? So I'm trying to clarify that previous statement that I've made before is what I'm trying to do, right?
Right.
So
it'll be
have
a
a
plus.
freshman start by default. That's not good. You know what I'm saying? So which gives way to your position where if he works his way up, because you look at he's a dog, he works his way up through these All-American and through these guys with FBS experience and starts. That's great for us, right? That means he's even better than we thought he was. You know what I'm saying? That he thought he was coming as a freshman. So that's where it just came to my mind that by default, not a good look. You know what I mean?
Hold on. So Wild Dog, Panda, you're back, so you can take the mic anytime. But look, Coach Prime tweets this, right? And then we get this. Is something going on here? Because you guys said if he's tweeting that, that means something's up.
Man, we try to tell you it's all planned out in communications, man, and if guys are going to commit and when they commit and when they sign, I mean, we got a Christmas present for a reason. That was not by accident.
So
no one can ever convince me that wasn't planned.
Hey, Shante explained it.
Y'all want to take me all the way back to that stuff. I'm not going there. I'm talking about this right here. Don't try to confuse this. All right, don't try to do that thing you're trying to do. I know what you're doing. You're not gonna get me with the okie doke. But look,
hey Shante, we need you to call in and straighten Harry out.
For real.
You're not doing that today. You're not gonna do that, okay? But look, Coach Prime tweets what he just tweeted. And you guys just put out a narrative saying if he's tweeting that, then what that is telling you guys is give me 1 second, because a couple of guys want to come onto the show. Let me get the link for them.
So I mean, we got Coach Prime, Hall of Famer, one of the best defensive players of all time. We got Warren Sapp on, pretty much whatever position he is, but he's on. So Hall of Famer, one of the best defensive players of all time, right?
Why are you always using that?
And then you got this dog Lundy committing to us. And then someone just said, King just said in the chat, hey, y'all going to figure out players are the biggest recruiters. Well, Seton demonstrated that because Seton started recruiting as soon as he committed. In the midst of his commitment, he was recruiting other dogs.
He got cash, and he got cash to come.
And then he committed, and then the weekend right up against his commitment, we had the visits, and they committed, and some of them signed right off the bat. All of that plays in. All of that plays into the recruiting system and to getting guys to come through, and then once they get here, to really get the most out of themselves and each other when they actually get here. Also to get and then that lends into leadership. Players are key in recruiting, and players are key in leadership and performance. We all like to say, "Oh, coach is this, coach is that," but you got to have leadership. Where's the leadership? Look to the leadership within the team, within the offense, within the defense, and within each position group.
All right, let me give a little bit more information on this guy that we're looking at right here. You guys are seeing this guy, right? From Purdue?
Yes. The Boilermaker.
Sources: Purdue's defensive and outside linebacker. That's OLB is outside linebacker, right, guys? To make sure I'm not saying. Okay. Yes. Nick Sorton, the Big Ten sack leader, is going to enter the transfer portal. He's 6'4", 280 pounds, sophomore. So that means he'll be bringing 3 years off, depending on grad and all that extra stuff. It could be a little bit more, right? A team captain. Coach doesn't use captains, but he's still a team captain. He had 10 sacks, 15 tackles for loss, and 50 tackles in 11 games. If that's not
wait.
Yo.
Wait.
Yo, that is monstrous. That is not hype. That has nothing to do with that. Is let me read it again, just in case somebody missed it.
Coach Prime pushing it to the limit.
Bruh, he's 6'4", 280 pounds, sophomore. That means he's gonna have mad eligibility. We get to develop him more. Team captain had 10 sacks. Like, okay, we have 52 on Shador. He got 10 of those. 15 tackles for a loss and 50 tackles in 11 games. That's monstrous, bro. Is this FCS or if this is Purdue is FBS, right?
FBS. SBS.
So we're putting it in perspective for people to understand. If Coach Prime tweets what he tweeted, this right here, dang, I see the porter doing the bang roll, the bang head bounce. Just when I thought Santa was on his way back to the North Pole, he dipped off. Santa, please drop another DT, cornerback, linebacker, and one more pass rusher to Boulder. I believe, Santa, I believe he already knows. Now that
it's blowing my mind. It's like I told you before, it's like I knew what was coming, but I wasn't prepared. I'm like, wait a minute, you got your linebacker commitment yesterday, but oh Lord, have mercy.
Put some respect on Coach Prime name, please. And thank you.
This would blow my mind.
I think he knows that this guy's coming, man. I'm telling you, for this guy
but I know something's coming once the bowl games are over, but
me and Shante would like an apology.
You're not getting no apology. This is different. This is not the same situation. Don't even go there. But anyways, you know what?
We just saw him post something.
Coach Prime is manifesting.
He posts his wish list.
No,
he posts his wish list.
He's wishing. And Shante don't even put a smiley. I see Shante in the comments putting smiley emojis. You're not right, Shante. Don't even try it.
He put out his wish list.
Hey man, let me bring somebody that has some sense on here. Phil, what's up, man? How you
You
doing,
better
man?
go get Phil. You better go get Phil.
Yeah, y'all
Shanti, I need you up here now. Shanti, I need some backup.
Nope, Shantae's not coming on. I'm not even gonna send her the link.
Hey,
Hey, Phil. See, now it's hour number 2.
Salute,
They're starting to get silly now.
Salute, Phil.
Phil, how you doing, brother? Welcome to the show, man.
Peace and blessings.
Yo,
Peace and blessings. Man, I'm doing good. How everybody doing?
Oh, we're doing
Pretty
good.
good, pretty good, pretty good.
Get out of hand, so
Reality.
I had to bring somebody on with some sense because these guys are starting to get out of hand. The conspiracy theories are now starting to fly. I can't have all of that. So, Coach Prime, we're gonna start you off with this. Coach Prime is tweeting stuff, and I'll give into their conspiracy this time. I feel like Coach Prime puts that out, and then
put some bass in your voice.
Stop playing with me. Say with your chest. Coach Prime tweets this. Is Coach Prime foreshadowing? Is Coach Prime foreshadowing here, or what do you think about this tweet and then this Purdue kid being in the transfer portal? What do you think about that? We'll start you off with that. Hopefully you don't have a delay because I think you're looking at me.
So listen, man, we all know Dion Sanders is the greatest recruiter of all time. He's the greatest coach of all time. He has not won a national championship, but he's still the greatest of all time. So everything he does is perfect. I just want to make sure I say this so I don't seem like a hater. But
keep the butts behind you.
In all seriousness, man, I think Dion
keep the butts behind you.
He's bringing some. You're right. Okay. With that being said, I think Dion he knows how to milk everything and to get the most out of it. And I think that's just what's going on right now. I think he's aware of what he wants to have happen, but I don't think he knows everything just yet, because I'm also hearing some rumors that the kid from Purdue is also looking at Alabama as well. I do think that shows some of the caliber of player that Dion is trying to get when you have somebody like Coach Saban trying to go after the same person as Dion is. So it'll be interesting to see. But if they are able to get the kid from Purdue, I think it's going to be a major win. I think he'll be a day one starter, and he will add that depth as well that you're looking for on the defensive side of the ball.
I take that.
I don't know. I mean, because we don't want to hype anything, right? We don't want to hype. What is this guy? Why is this asking? What is just being myself asking me about TD Jakes? Like, what is this, Harry B? How do you feel about TD Jakes being prime spiritual
next,
father?
Harry? Next.
Like, what are you doing? We're
question,
talking football here.
Wrong place.
No, by the way, that's E Dewey. That's E Dewey that be at the games. That's not TD Jakes that's at the games with Dion, by the way. That's E Dewey Smith Jr., I believe.
Yeah,
that's at the games with him. So if you're gonna try to be fun, at least get your respect.
Phil, we would know that. We would be familiar with that, but they're trying to do something else.
Wild Dog don't even address it, bro. Let's stay.
Yeah,
focused.
Are they trying to bait me?
Harry, you need to give Shantae a wrench, and she can. Just
I'm petty, so I'll take the bait, but I'm not gonna do that.
It's too much going on when you live. You're not an octopus, so you need to give Shantae or somebody a wrench to handle that.
Yeah,
because I don't even want to see that. I'm glad I'm live because I wouldn't even want to see that.
All right,
that's a fact.
So listen. Without hyping, right? Without hyping the sounding like we're hyping the player, right? So that we understand, because people in the chat, not everybody watching, understands the nitty gritty of the. I guess when we put these stats up, not everybody really understands what this really means to Coach Prime and his team, and I like to stretch things. I like to stretch.
Could you pin Yardman comment?
The greatest recruiter? You talking about this right here?
No.
Which one?
Yeah, I don't think he got the sarcasm.
Yeah, he didn't get it. He didn't get it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So
that was sarcasm. Yeah.
It was sarcasm, guy. It was Yard Man. It was sarcasm. Yard Man, he's supposed to come on today, but I think Yard Man is busy. He's doing yard work.
Phil was being facetious. Is that the word, right? Facetious.
Yeah. Yard Man is doing yard work.
Yeah, we'll take it. Something like that.
Yeah. So, anyways, without stressing, let's dig a little deeper in. Let me share my screen again so people understand, because some people are just joining the chat, not really understanding what's really going on. So we understand Coach Prime is trying to get to 12. To get to 12, Coach Prime is answering some serious questions. And when I say serious questions, I'm talking about, if you look at this list, I don't know if you guys are seeing this list, but if you look at this list, some serious questions are being answered right now. Okay? Like serious questions are being answered right now. And when Coach tweets this and says, I need DTs, that's defensive tackle, cornerback, all right, another Travis Hunter. I've said that. I said we need at least 2 more. Linebacker and 1 more pass rusher. And then, you know, we obviously got the Jordan Cians. You know, that boy looked like he about to be a starter. And I want to get your opinion. I asked Wild Dog, but I want to see what you guys think, because I think we have said that he may not be a starter, but now that I'm looking at him like, that kid might be a starter. I'll hold that for a second, you know. But when we see these type of things, when we see Purdue edge, what is Coach Prime really doing when we see these type of things? I want you guys to speak on it in a sense where this is not hype.
He's being real. A coach. He's actually being a coach.
No, not that. I want to take it beyond that. I want to give people confidence who may listen to, because when you're not listening to somebody who's making sense, when you are away from other people, somebody else may make sense the way that they explain things. That's why I want the panel to really put your foot on this, what this really means, so that people can understand, like, oh, okay, this is serious.
Okay, anybody, Harry, like I put it in the chat, but I really want a response when I put it there. But let's break it down. Let's start with the offense, right?
Let's break it down.
Is Shedeur not a top QB in the FBS?
Will be one of the best.
Is he not the top-rated quarterback in the Big 12? Yes, he is, right?
That's so
correct.
Oh, in the Big 12? Oh, yeah. I think definitely for the Big 12.
Okay, so let's move on. Let's move on to running backs. I know we got a question mark about McCaskill, but he's a proven dog at running back, right? Mm-hmm. People have injuries coming off of surgery. Okay, that is a bit of a question mark, but Wilkerson is coming in with experience. Dylan Edwards, when used properly, is explosive. So that's guys we know we've got, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Okay, then let's move on to wide receivers. I know we're losing.
One of the best in the nation.
But
one of the best rooms.
Jimmy Horn is going to slide up. And then how Jimmy Horn was used, you're going to have Mathis move up. And then Amarion Miller showed what he can do. He showed out. So, when he's utilized and put in rotation, he's already showed what he can do. Was that a USC game?
You just answered it. You just answered it.
Okay, so then we go to the old line, where a lot of people had headaches and they take a lot of hits. But like we discussed, we got not one, but 2 All-Americans coming up. Shake it. Hey, 2 FBS All-Americans will be in the offensive line next year, in addition to a 5+ star recruit. Okay, let's keep it moving then. Okay, so we go over to the safety core.
I have a rebuttal with the offensive line, but I'm gonna let you.
Okay.
Go ahead. It's a real time discussion, so go ahead, rebuttal now.
No,
go ahead, Phil.
Yeah. I just want to give a little bit of pushback. I do think the offensive line is going to be improved. I'm willing to say that Colorado will have a top 5 position group in every position in that conference, except for the offensive line. I'm still not sold on it. And I know it's too early to really make predictions like that, but I'm still not sold on it for some reason. I think the offensive line is going to need some time to gel to start the season. At the very least, the first 3 games of the season should be games that will give them a chance to kind of get their feet wet. And then I think you're going to see them progress as the season goes forward.
I mean, Nebraska is a real game. Nebraska is a real test.
See them.
But let me say this. Let me say this real quick. In order to be effective, we have to run the ball to give the O-line the ability to push forward instead of come back and hold for 5 seconds 3 times in a row. So with that in mind, if we are looking at how he's pulling the pieces and what he's added and what we have, I think he understands that run yardage is essential for Shedeur to execute with the passing. If he does that, I think it's really the best 22 on the day. If he doesn't do that, we're going to see holes in that O-line after Nebraska. Not after, at the Nebraska game.
All right, so Wild Dog, I'm going to cover your face real quick to put this graphic up so that we can keep this thing real, okay? All right. So Phil, you're saying that if you look at this graphic, you're saying that you find at least 5 teams on this list that that our offensive line is not going to be better than? Is that what you're saying? This is the Big 12 now. This is our schedule.
Correct.
Can you name the teams? Can you point out the teams?
So
at least 5.
Keep in mind that this. Yeah, so keep in mind this. The schedule that you have is not that's not the official schedule, and those are not all the teams in the Big 12. But right. Just on the schedule, I will list the teams that I think is going to have a better offensive line. I believe Arizona is going to have a better offensive line. I believe Utah is going to have a better offensive line. Oklahoma State, and I will give you Kansas State as well, is going to have a better offensive line. I need to see who else will be in the actual Big 12 this year because, everything is changing. But even on this schedule, I also think Nebraska will have a better offensive line than Colorado next year as well.
So when you say Nebraska, because we handled them pretty nicely, are you saying they're recruiting a little better than us this time around?
They didn't have a quarterback, Harry.
They have to be recruiting better than us.
Well, I just think that those teams have already been established.
Are you talking about Nebraska from 10 years ago or Nebraska that we just beat?
Nebraska been rebuilding for about 3 years now.
Yeah, but what happened this year?
They didn't have a quarterback, Harry. Let's be honest.
Ravioli ain't about to do nothing, man. They still don't have a quarterback. Ravioli ain't gonna do nothing. Ravioli's not gonna be jack. I'm telling you.
I'm a football fan. I'm not gonna disrespect
Ravioli is not gonna do anything.
No, brother.
Are you being sarcastic, Harry, or are you being serious?
I'm a football fan, Harry. I'm not joining you on that one.
But okay, we can go deep into Ravioli's whatever, right? Because as far as what he's able to do coming out of high school, I don't know that he's gonna be that dynamic that we should be afraid of him as far as what we're coming with.
At least not that early in the season.
Right. We just went over our group, and the group that we got from Florida.
I don't think any team. I don't think.
Is your audio cutting out? Or are you thinking?
Phil?
No, I couldn't hear you. Yo.
You hearing us now?
Let's see. I might be having some internet issues. I'm gonna tell
you got dial up. It's okay, man.
There's a little delay. Phil, hang up and come back, and I'll bring you in. Hang it up and come back, and I'll bring you in. There we go. All right. So, T. Nolan, welcome to the show. Tim, welcome to the show. How you guys doing today?
Hey, doing well, brother. How about y'all? How y'all
doing? Good, Harry.
All is well. So we always find ourselves back to this list, guys. we always come back to this list because I want to keep it real. I want it to be real to people, right? and Phil just gave us his thoughts on we may not have the top O-line in the Big 12, which is wide open. So T Nolan, you can be your first. You tell me if you agree with what Tim said, his assessment, the 5 teams that he just plucked out and says we're not based on, because Wild Dog was pretty much laying it out as far as the O-line and us going, and he has some pushback. So do you see the same thing that he sees, or what? What do you think?
Absolutely not. I'm pushing back with a plow. Absolutely not. Here's the thing.
Teams, yo.
Who are you pushing back on? Are you pushing back on Wild Dog or Phil?
Let me make it clear.
Okay.
You can mark this down. Today is the day after Christmas, December 26th.
All right.
I'm all in. I don't think we'll go undefeated, but I think we'll get to the bowl game. We may lose one game, and I think we'll beat ourselves. Understand something. We just went 3 and 9 last year with the line that we had, 3 and 9 last year with the players that we had. Why is it that either the media or the specialties, those that do this for a living, why do they know something that everybody on this line don't know? Why are we picked third in the conference behind 2 teams that we could have actually beat with the same players, with the players that we had last year? Now, we agree that we got significantly better on that line. Even if everybody else got better, with the type of play that Colorado played this year, and only losing by less than a touchdown by the 2 that are scheduled ahead of us in conference. Yes, I'm from Oklahoma, so I'm very, very well familiar with Oklahoma State, Kansas, and all of them. And I'm going out on a limb and say we will win the conference and definitely a bowl game. We will make the playoffs. I don't mind saying it. You can pull this back up at the end of the year next year. We will win the conference. We are that much better on the line. Even if we were 1 player better on the line than we were last year, a significant upgrade, let alone 4 or 5. So it backs up to differ. What does the media know? What does those that are ranking the teams know that we don't know?
So you say you are in the Oklahoma. Are you in the Big 12?
Yes, sir.
Oh, so you're in the Big 12. So do you watch Big 12 football?
I do. But this past year, I followed Colorado almost every game. And I'm telling you, with the talent that Colorado brought in, even with you see how every game we were in, with the exception of 1, 2, Oregon and Washington State, which Washington State, we lost a quarterback and whatever. But even with upgrading as much as we did on the line, and if nothing else changed, man, we would have won 10 games easy. Should have won 10 games easy. Okay. So why now did we get such a big upgrade? Why now that we grade the way that we did, as far as in the conference, as far as overall, nationally with the recruiting, nationally with the portal? Why is it that we have such a high upgrade, but then it seems like we timid to go out on the line and say, what we really feel? I'm saying we're going to win the conference. We should go undefeated in the conference. That's how I feel about it.
All right, so Phil is back. Let me let Phil have it, and then I'll let Tim talk, because he just came in. So Tim, give me 1 second. I'm sorry, but Phil is back, and he's the one that started all of this. Phil, it's on your head, bro. You better rescue yourself. What's up? What says you, Phil?
Well, no, I didn't hear the initial point that the young man made, but it did seem like he was very confident that Colorado would win the Big 12 this year.
Yes.
I'm not sold on that.
Okay.
However, I think they will be I will give you that they will be a top 4 team, and that's me trying to be nice. I'm not sure if I think they're going to win
How much
6
wins
games this year. No, they'll win 6 games this year.
6? 6?
Yeah, Phil's putting 6 out there.
Gun to my head right now, I'd say 7.
Let's mute Phil Mike. He has lost his mic privilege.
7.
Let's mute Phil Mike. I think he have lost his mic privilege. Maybe some of the ham from yesterday is confusing his brain.
Okay, all right.
He-
So
I
Panda,
think
you
I
got
heard
look,
6.
Panda. Go ahead,
Did
break
I
it down.
hear 6 correctly?
but
Yes,
look,
you
when I
heard
said
6
Dion was
correctly.
the greatest recruiter of all time, I'm D-riding.
But you were being sarcastic.
Phil? Phil?
Hold on,
Phil?
Panda. If you're gonna push back, don't do it in a sarcastic way.
Nah, I got
Tell us
seven.
why you
Seven
see more than
tops.
6.
7.
Okay, so Phil got 7.
I mean,
Phil's changing his mind. The pressure is on Phil, so he's changing his mind.
previously when we had this conversation, we didn't have Seaton. We didn't have the 2 other guys on the O line. When we turn over to the defense, we have some. My critique on the defense was we had nobody to stop the run, to initially plug the run.
And now
So
you see
with
someone.
that, I mean, we have 2 people who will be able to do that, who are starters and seasoned. So that's not even a conversation. And then the antidote that Wild Dog said and I said, we need to have a leader that's in the middle and not rely on Shiloh to make the decisions. Because before, if nobody's in the middle to create that pressure, Shiloh has to come up as a safety. There's no way in the world a safety supposed to have that much tackles. So my point is, we had addressed the issues. So Phil, when you make that comment, you are not making it based on the adjustment or the nucleus of the team. You're making it based on the Pac-12. Now, if you are saying the competition in this conference is to the point where we are going to falter in some type of way, we did excellent without an O-line. So the fact that we address the O-line, we give Shador as much reign to be himself, to flow in a Heisman form of play, especially if we change to the pro scheme, which we are suggesting that Pat Shermer is going to do. So I do not see 6. 6 not even in the conversation.
What do you see?
I say 10 now. Before I said
that's
8.
bullish. That's real bullish.
I go to 10. And I go to 10 saying this caveat.
Hold on.
We will drop to 9.
Yo, Panda is real critical. So for him to go to 10, this has got to be something we got to discuss here. Wait a minute. You went from 8 to 10. You got 2 more wins. I put the list back up for you. Who you taking back? Tell me who you taking back as a loss to a win.
Remember, I was the only lone person that counted Nebraska as a loss because of Nebraska and Colorado having that rivalry. And I said
you were delusional. Now you're not delusional because you thought we were gonna lose to Nebraska. We're not losing to Nebraska.
The reason why I said that was when I look at the school of play, we did not dominate. And I told people we played excellent for where we came from, but we had no team that we beat by 2 clear points. I mean, 2 touchdowns.
All right, so we have to Nebraska. Look about who's the other person. Who's the other team?
The other team I took back was Texas Tech.
So Texas Tech, we're gonna beat now.
Yep.
What are the 2 teams we're losing to?
I had Oklahoma State and Utah.
Utah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So Oklahoma. So game number 5, and game number 7, we're losing according to you.
Yep.
Okay.
No, sir. We're gonna win the conference undefeated.
So do you think they'll win the conference then?
And that's the thing, because of how the conference is, you don't have to be undefeated to win it. And that's why I want to push back on him at. I think we can win the conference, but it's not going to be undefeated. You see how I'm logical in my conference win?
Okay, now you're slapping your tooth in your own horn. Get out of here with that craziness.
I just want to, you know what I mean? Shantae not there, so I gotta, you know what I mean?
You're very logical. Yeah, we know. Okay, so what says you, Phil? So do you want to rebuttal or do you want to say anything on that? Because he's He was addressing you.
No, I'm gonna try to make it as quick as I can. But real quick, keep in mind this is a new conference, so yeah, we got used to how the Pac-12 looked last year, but the Big 12 is going to look a lot different than the Pac-12. It's not going to be as flashy. It's a little bit more hard nosed. Like I said, a lot of guys that don't wear sleeves when it's cold outside on the offensive line. So I think it's still going to be hard to really gauge how good Colorado has become versus how much better other teams in the conference have improved, because I think everybody's going to get better from last year. And I ain't got faith in Dion like that. I want to see him be successful, but I don't think he's going to be able to get more than 7 games next year.
So
but I hope I'm wrong.
I got a question for you. The things that you're looking for, is it based on transfer portal information like rankings and all of that, or is it based on what from just the idea of the person? What are you looking for as far as like, okay, because
so
if you look at the 5 teams that you said, these 5 teams are recruiting and they have teams this year, right? So what are they doing that we're not doing?
Mm-hmm.
That's the question. What are they doing that you see that we're not
doing? I
doing?
can't tell you what they're doing because I'm not keeping up with them. But
how you came to your conclusion then?
It would be public information.
I mean, like I said, I'm not keeping up with them, so
right?
I can't tell you specifically what they're doing. But okay. Well, okay. So if you want to go simply based off of what's public information, if you look at specifically the high school recruiting class for the conference, I'm going to say Dion, Colorado is behind. Now, when you look at the transfer portal, obviously they're going to be ranked higher because they're taking more players. But if you look at the actual average of the player, it is still not in the top. I want to say 10 in the nation. Go ahead.
In the history of D1, how often does a high school 5, 4, and 3-star player start or even play?
Amen.
You want to answer that, Phil?
Did the conversation?
I didn't hear the point he made. I heard he said
in the history of D1 football, because I know you are HBCU and we love HBCU and hoorah to you over there. But in the history of D1, how many 5 and 4 stars from high school start or play first year?
It really just depends on the team they go to. But I would say
5%. 5%.
Maybe 25% of them.
25?
I say maybe 20%.
No, that's too high. 25%.
25%.
But
it's a lower number than that. High school players playing. Because
you said 5 and 4 star, right? But you said 5 and 4 star,
25%, bro.
Yeah, I think the number is lower than that. I don't know.
But your question was about 5 and 4 stars, correct?
Yeah.
Correct.
5 and 4 stars.
I'm asking the question was your okay? So
yes, I was asking that to let you see that when it comes to those projections and the stars, they mean nothing when they get to the program, and most programs build going up, meaning that when that 5-star come in the room, they go under who the starter is, and the starter tends to take them under the wing. Football has a structure, but because of NIL and how it changed, Dion had to change how he looked at it. He need readiness. He need people who was able to insert on day one. And then because of college football having a free agency called a transfer portal, you run the risk of pouring into players who are not going to be there next year, especially what the NCAA did last week with that rule change. So that transfer credit thing and that
remind us of the rule change. Remind us of the rule change, because I don't think everybody knows about the rule change.
So before, the reason why we had an issue with some players transferring is because how it worked before was the the scholarship and the credits was supposed to line across, right? And what they were doing was holding up and say players weren't eligible. That happened to Brown and like 4 other players that we were trying to get last season. So when the coach was being all vibrato and he had players, they just couldn't come. That's why he went to the dean and asked the dean to even change certain credits to be accepted. There's a lot happening here. And then what the NCAA did was, oh, don't worry about that. Next season, a player could move at any point he wants, and he doesn't have to sit out. He doesn't have a red shirt anymore. Do you understand what is going on in the football scheme overall? We are thinking of football in a 10 years ago format. It doesn't exist anymore. And we have to be fair when we come to understanding what Coach Prime has to do. The reason why the media and all the legacy coaches have a disdain for Coach Prime, it's not that they don't think he's a great football player. And I don't think it's a situation where they think he's not a good coach. They realize he's coming in with a system that they didn't have. They had to build a program from scratch.
So bring it back around to the point of let's stick on the point of, okay, these 5 teams that we said are gonna have a better O-line. That was his initial point. The 5 teams that are gonna have a better O-line than Colorado. How does what you're saying factor into that?
Well, what he was trying to make was the recruiting class was poor because we were taking less from high school. That model that Coach Prime is using now, it's going to be replicated throughout college football. And I will put money on that. So using that metric is being disingenuous when the media does it, because it's designed to point the finger at him. When we talk about O-line, as is, the O-line that we have with the pieces that were added is good enough to give Shador 3.5 seconds. Okay, and so if we run the ball, like I said, it gives the O-line the antidote at ramming and getting physical so that they could run the ball and be able to dominate and pancake people. This is football.
All right, so what do you think about that, Nolan? What based on what they're saying, based on what Panda is trying to articulate, and based on what Phil is saying, how do you feel as far as like Colorado having one of the best O-lines in the Big 12 going to the Big 12 based on our Pac-12 competition, how we played? Do you feel we're going to have one of the best O-lines, or do you more align with Phil and you're playing it more cautious?
I think that we will have one of the best O-lines. What was the top conference last year? What was the top conference?
I think it was Pac-12, right? Pac-12 had more.
According
Pac-12
to
had more top 25 ranked teams consistently than most any other conference.
Absolutely. Pac-12. We were a part of the Pac-12. We played TCU first. From TCU, we went to...
They were ranked 17 at the time.
They were ranked 17. We beat TCU. After TCU, we played, was that Oklahoma? I'm sorry, Colorado
Nebraska.
State? Nebraska. We beat Nebraska. We beat Nebraska, what, 30-something 14, 43-13, however much it was. After Nebraska, we went to Colorado State. Mm-hmm. Now, this may shock you. In my personal opinion, TCU had a better line than us. Nebraska had a better line than us.
This man knows football.
Colorado State had a better line than us, and we won those 3 games. Understand, our trouble spot was the trenches. We succeeded in those 3 games with a trouble spot. We lost an additional 6 more games with the same line, that with the exception of 2 games was within 8 points or less, with a horrible O-line. with horrible play calling and everything. You all saw the same games I saw. So with that being said, now that we know, and even all the experts know, that we have significantly upgraded our O-line. Let's say that everybody upgraded. This conference, the Big 12, let's say everybody upgraded. We're dealing with right now, we have the worst O-line in college football. Right. And still, we were in every game but 2. I don't see how we can backpedal when we all can agree that we significantly upgraded on the O-line, even if it was just 1 or 2 people. If we can keep our quarterback upright, goodness, he was on the ground 52 times and still was 5th in yards completed and touchdowns and all of that. What we have to worry about now, or what we don't have to worry about as far as our O-line being stellar or being better than everybody else, because in the first 3 games, we put up over 40 points, at least over 35 points. So then people will have to keep on track with Colorado because we can score points. And now that the O-line has been significantly upgraded, we're going to continue to score points. We're going to continue to, I believe now we will have the personnel to run the ball like we need to, which is a whole nother beast within itself. I think more emphasis should be placed upon the running than the O-line. O-line problem solved. I ain't going to say it's solved, but the O-line problem is taken care of. We have a significant upgrade in all 5 positions, even with the starters we had last year. Everybody can't play. Somebody got to back up. And that's how I look at it. But we have significantly increased. That's why I'll stand to it. We will win the conference, whether we're undefeated or not. We will win the conference because how we played last year with the broken parts that we've had and still was in every single game except Oregon and Washington State. That speaks volumes to what Colorado will do this year. We didn't lose no offensive firepower. We got better.
And imagine if we send Jimmy Horn on his style of play, because we Wild Dog addressed it. I was wondering who could we move into that crossing route, and I forgot Mathis. If Mathis could really be counted on to catch that crossing ball, and we could send Jimmy Horn up the road, he replaces Weaver automatically. And then we have the other, then that inserts Miller. So like we technically had the pieces there. And then we're not talking about the pieces that we brought in.
No.
So like I'm with him on saying that we could win, but I'll say right 10 too.
Yeah, we got right now.
So you're staying. All right, so Panda's sticking with 10. T Nolan is saying we're gonna win the conference. Phil saying, look, I'm gonna be more cautious. I don't believe that. Now, where do I stand? I'm at 8-4. I'm at 8-4, just like last year. I think 8-4. But some things may happen. The reason why I say 8-4 is because if we look, let me put the schedule back up again. I think that there are going to be surprises that we're not ready for, and I think some of our losses are going to come a little later in the season. Arizona's not going to beat us. I don't see Arizona beating us because the way that we played them was just with a depleted team, with the type of team that we had. They should have came in. If they were that good, they should have handled business. And I don't see them making any moves in the postseason to replenish their team the way that we're doing it. So if they put a similar product on the field and we put this new product on the field, I think that the gap is going to be much wider. I really thought that Utah was going to be this team that was really going to beat us like Oregon did. But they didn't beat us like that either. So I'm like, I'm confused
They
about
didn't
Utah.
play at full strength, Harry.
Okay, maybe if that was the case, then I don't really have a true evaluation of Utah.
Yeah, we don't.
That's not fair. That's not fair. They
Okay.
didn't play at full strength in some key areas. That line was the same starting line, offense and defense. They were at full tilt. They were at full tilt.
The quarterback didn't play, bro.
I understand that.
So the quarterback is the heart of the offense. So if the heart of the
hold
offense,
on. Again, I got to push back again. So we keep saying that, but it's apples and oranges. So with our O-line, our D-line, we played their starting O-line and D-line. And it came down to a game of inches. I don't care what the quarterback is. He's a good quarterback. Don't get me wrong. Their bread and butter is running the ball. And their starting running backs ran and played. Their starting O-line played. Their starting D-line played. They had to come out with some trick plays too in order to win that game. And we had two touchdowns, 2 or 3 that were called back. So let's say that Colorado had won that game. What would have been the excuse? Well, our starting quarterback didn't. Listen, he don't throw for, 400 yards a game. That's not the type of ball they play. They are a ground and pound type of team. Washington was. And so we played against Washington's starting line and starting D. Yes, the quarterback didn't play. They had some key players out, but so did we.
Utah. With
a backup quarterback. Come on. We got to be fair with it. We had backups too. And still, less than a touchdown.
So that's what I'm saying. The evaluation that Harry just made, it wasn't a full team evaluation.
Well, I was saying
you,
the reason why
you understand the conference, so you understand from a matchup standpoint, it's a fair matchup. But I'm saying what Harry was trying to do, it wasn't based on it being the full team.
Okay, but based on what he just said, if we're saying okay, let's take the quarterback. Do we know who else didn't play? Like what other starter didn't play? If we
they didn't have some receivers out there also.
All right, so starting maybe 1 or 2 starting receivers didn't play. So if you take that out, you give them a few more scores. Let's just say we give them 2 touchdowns, we're still equal. Like
Harry B. Even with that, arguably our number one receiver didn't play. Zay Weaver wasn't there.
What happened?
But Zay Weaver been out the last 3 games, bro. As far as production.
Say it again.
When we say out, what do you mean out?
As far as production,
was he hurt? Was Zay hurt?
No, I'm not saying hurt. I'm saying production.
He was sick.
He was sick.
He didn't play the last game.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. But as far as production, going into the last 3 games.
Panda, I'll say it like this. When you take those elements, right? Let's just say the quarterback with their quarterback and a receiver or so were out. We give them a couple. What I'm saying is, as far as strength, as far as like, man, they're going to give us a real problem. When I was doing my research, I looked at this team and I said, wow, this team, they look like they're about to be a problem. And they didn't give us that problem that I was anticipating. I did not see that problem at all. The only team that I saw the fear of God, that put the fear of God in me, was Oregon. And I did not expect that. That's why I now, like in hindsight, I'm like, there had to be something that Oregon had on us, because there's no other team in the Pac-12 that we played on our schedule that really gave us that kind of problem. So something was up, man. Something was up. But anyways, I'll leave that alone.
I agree with you, Harry B. You said it on the live a few lives ago. You said they had our playbook. Listen, they had something.
They had something.
But to give some context to what you're saying, that's what I felt Coach Prime was saying when he went on Stephen A. about the trust and being around people who doing what he wants. I think that's what he was cold talking about.
Maybe that was, but I just felt like something was up, because how can one team out of all of the teams that we played, we were in the game, but it just felt like Oregon we couldn't move, we couldn't shake, we couldn't go to the left, we couldn't go to the right. It was just like it was like TCU versus Georgia all over again. It just felt weird. So
this is how I felt.
Let me finish this. Let me finish my assessment, and then you can have it. And then we're almost done. So if I look at all of these teams, I say Utah, we can take Utah. Now, the only teams that I have my issues with that I'm looking at now, I'm not like, okay, I got to really look into Oklahoma State, Kansas, and then I got to look at the Kansas Jayhawks and those teams. And then maybe there's going to be a toss-up somewhere. It could be Cincinnati. It could just be one of these teams that we're not expecting to beat us, might beat us. So that's the fourth team. So if I say Oklahoma State, Kansas State, and then Kansas, and then somewhere in there, somebody's going to beat it that we're not expecting. That's four for me.
Texas beat Oklahoma State last year.
Somebody's going to beat us that's not expected to beat us. That's just how I feel. I feel like we're going to be off our game. We're going to start feeling ourselves again. We're going to beat a few really big teams, and then we're going to start feeling ourselves again. And then we're going to walk into one of these games, and everybody's going to be like, "Oh, this is one is a gimme," and they're going to give us that business. That's like until they prove to me otherwise that they have learned their lesson. I can only say we're going to walk into one of those situations again.
But the lesson already came, though.
Right.
No,
like Harry,
but that doesn't mean that we learned it. It doesn't mean we have to be put in that same situation again to see how we did in order for us to see if we learned that lesson.
Because Harry, I was feeling you. It's like we're looking at 2024 projections.
Right.
So based on we played Arizona. So based on what the game and we lost, but based on who they are and what they're doing, and based on who we are, and then everything we're doing with our upgrades, I see us beating Arizona. I don't see us losing Arizona. Yeah, now they might end up with a better record than us, but I don't see us losing to Arizona. We played that team. We know that team. With our upgrades, we beat them. Now, I understand your reluctance with coming to Utah, because when we played them, there were too many variables and unknowns with them and us.
Right.
Take that and try to project that in 2024. So I was totally with you with that, where you could have Utah as a question mark, because it was too many unknowns. We didn't play them full. They didn't play us full. We didn't really get a full look at them. They didn't really get a full look at us.
But we're getting stronger, though. We're getting so much stronger.
And then Utah has been solid. They won the Pac-12. They've been pretty solid year after year. They've come up. But what I don't see with a softened, again, let me be very clear, with a softened Big 12, OU is gone, Texas is gone, with a softened Big 12 on this schedule, however it gets laid out, home or away, I don't see another Oregon game.
I don't
see anybody just totally, just demolishing us. You know what I'm saying? I see us being completely competitive in this softened Big 12. But like you said, there's games we should win that we might lose, because look at the character of who we were this past year. Because it's gonna be hard for me to get over Stanford. You know what I'm saying?
It's very hard, and then we still got a lot of the starters.
It's
with
gonna
that
take
same
a game
mentality.
You
know what I'm saying? So I don't know.
It's gonna take being down. I don't know what it's gonna take for me to get over Stanford. That was hard. That was brutal.
I want to see if they learned that lesson. I don't know. I don't think they learned that lesson yet.
So Harry's not delusional. I'm not delusional. You kind of carry that over because you need a gut check on that. We got too many people from that same team. What's our identity going to be? Are we still carrying that energy with us?
Shador's still the quarterback.
I'm just saying, you can still carry that potential energy where somebody that's...
Hold on.
Shador was posting on Instagram.
It's projections. So
no. What you're doing is right. What Harry's doing is wrong.
Even if
is right. What Harry's doing is wrong.
5% of that Stanford energy carries over to 2024. It could cost us a game that we should win.
It can. Shooting some free throws like Shaq over there.
So my real concern is that, again, the rivalry games. I don't care what your record is. I don't care what you did in the offseason. I don't care what Vegas says. When it comes to rivalry games,
that's why I said Nebraska.
All bets are off. All bets are off. I don't care what your AI says or anything. When it comes to rivalry games, my prayer is that we come out healthy, because what happened this past year, we didn't survive the rivalry games healthy. We went 3-0 and we were banged up. The offensive line was banged up. Shador was banged up.
We were too soft.
Travis was out for 3 games.
Right. We were too soft. If somebody smack you, smack them back. That's how I feel.
So coming into this coming season, I'm like, we got to survive. Not only if we go 3-0, but I want a 3-0 that's healthy because we got depth. Even if we suffer injuries, we got depth, and we can continue on in the season and not get all banged up like we did last year.
Harry B. Wild
Only one piece I want is a long range kicker. Personally, I love Mata, but I want a kicker who can kick a 47.
I don't believe in kickers. I believe in
Nolan been patient. Let me hear what he got to say.
Run the 2-point conversion. Run the 2-point conversion, Panda.
Go ahead, Nolan. Let me hear what you got to say, and then we got to end the show.
All right, listen, real quick, Wild Dog, and just kind of agreeing with some of the points that you made. Understand this too. I think this year's team has a whole new identity than last year's.
Mm-hmm.
Being a dog is a identity, is not always a skill. Understand something. Yeah. Now, the players that we brought in look different. The players that we brought in, mentality, oh my God, is different than night and day. You talking about okay? You all, I'm sure you all seen Coach Prime when he was talking, whether on Stephen A. Smith or some of the others, when they went out to dinner before these guys were signed. Shador took them out, that Saturday, a couple Saturdays ago. All the linemen was there, none of them had signed, and something kind of rolls off out of left field. And how all of them stepped up, whatever, that would have never happened last year. It would not, because it's a mentality. You can't teach a dog mentality. Either you born with it, you got it. You don't develop. You can develop skill, but you can't develop a dog. You either a dog or you a cat. And when you bring dogs in, everybody saying, "Well, who's a dog? Who's a dog?" It's not about their skill. It's a mindset. It's a mindset. Listen,
what do you mean you can't develop a dog? Of course you can develop a dog. What do you mean?
I came from in the streets, man, and there's certain people that
push back. You can develop a dog. You can develop a dog. Yes, you can.
You can sharpen skills.
Harry.
Listen, I'm going to say that.
What Nolan is talking about, what Nolan is talking about,
a dog.
What Nolan is talking about, when Travis Hunter got that late hit and went down, who confronted the dude? Who confronted him? Who confronted Blackburn?
Shador.
How is your quarterback, your dog, confronting the dude? Get out of here, man. It's either in you or it ain't. When you're a dog.
Listen. In a situation like that, here's the difference.
You can develop a skill, you can develop a leader, but that dog and Shador had him running down there and
Harry dog.
Blackburn. That's a dog. That's what
Tank ain't a
dog.
Yo, Wild Dog is losing it right now.
But see, that's the difference. That's the difference in the dog and you got a real good player or a skilled player. You can't teach dog. You can't teach it. A dog can be less skilled and have more production on the team than a skilled player. Why? Because he's a dog.
Okay, so let me say this. This is what I mean by developing a dog. Sometimes a dog can be in there, but it's a quiet dog. Okay, it's not barking yet. It's just kind of meowing, doing. A dog.
We don't need any poodles, Harry.
Let me finish. Okay,
we
listen.
Don't want any.
A dog could be in there.
Rottweilers.
If we're looking at Cormani McLean, we know that he's a dog. It's in there, but he ain't bark yet. So he needs other dogs that are barking, like the Travis Hunters and other dogs around him, to let him know that he's a dog. So you can develop that. It's already inside of you. Now, if you told me that you're either born with it or you're not, or something like that, but you can develop a dog because it could be in there. Somebody got to pull that out. Like, hey, man, I see a dog in you.
We all saying the same thing here. We agree.
No, I'm saying
it's either in you or it's not.
But that's not development.
You can develop what's in you.
No, listen.
If it's in you, then you can develop it. But if it's not in you, you can't. It's nothing there to develop other than skill.
Develop a dog. I'm taking it for semantics. I'm taking it like you can develop a dog because if it's either in you or it's not. That's the difference between developing a dog because Cormani got to be developed. You understand what I'm saying?
His skill.
It's not Cormani got the skills, but the dog got to be developed. He got to understand that he's a different type of human being.
He's a very talented and skillful player.
Does not have the skill.
There's a difference between skill and dog. Let's understand that. Let's understand that there's a difference between skill and a dog. Skill is knowing how to play the game, having the semantics and playing the game. But a dog is like you said, Shador, when that player came and he was running, he did that extra hit to let him know that, my dude, I'm not afraid of you. I'm no fear of a man. I don't care if your name is in the lights. That's a dog mentality. If it's in there, you can develop it. But if it's not there, it's hard to put in there. That's my point. I'm just saying you can't put it in there if it's not there. But if it's already there, but it's laying low,
Harry,
you can develop that and bring it out of them.
Okay. Listen, Harry. Like even Carmani, you mentioned Carmani. So okay, Carmani's gut check. Okay, Coach Mathis, gave Carmani some kudos, acknowledging his character. Dog is something that's being examined all the time, right? So Coach Mathis made notice and gave kudos to Carmani because of his character. And then there are situations on the field where Carmani almost set loose, but then Hunter had to come and say, hey, level out, because I see the dog in you. It's either in there or it's not. Right. Now it can be developed, it can be brought out, it has to be controlled. You use it, you have to learn how to utilize it and everything, but it's either in you or it's not. Because I played with guys who were better than me.
Correct that statement y'all making by saying
I played with guys who were better than me, but I was the dog. I was always the enforcer.
But it was in there. But you didn't come out. You didn't come out barking.
I was a quiet one. I was a quiet one.
You were quiet.
Listen, it's the quiet ones you got to be worried about.
But I'll tell y'all this. I just wanted y'all to correct y'all gonna get pushback. Y'all can't just come and be making statements all around here because I want my people to walk away with good information. Y'all can't say develop and then try to walk off like, oh no, that's not what we're saying. That's not what y'all were saying. Y'all saying y'all couldn't develop a dog. A dog could be developed. And I'll tell y'all this story. When I was in Maryland, I was humpback. If you live in Maryland, you know exactly what I'm talking about. When you're in Maryland, you walk with a little bit of a humpback and you walk a little slow and we wear gray and black. That's gray, black, and white. That's all we wear in Maryland because nobody knows how to be self. All right. That's in Maryland. Okay. And you walk a little bit of humpback because the confidence is not there. When I came to New York, oh my gosh, the young people were walking circles around me. It was like, yo, what's happening with you? And I was like, what do you mean? And they were like, yo, you're gonna have to speak up. You gotta do something. Like you gotta be, you know what I'm saying? The dog did not develop in me until I got to New York, and I saw the young people walking circles around me, and I was like, wait a minute, the dog was always in me. Somebody had to develop it. Somebody had to say, hey man, you a dog. Bark bigger. You can't sit there.
I guess we would say triggered, Harry. You gotta have a triggered.
Let me push back on that
express itself. Because you can't be in a glass shop and be a dog. You know what I'm saying?
But that's development. I'm talking about the fact that
but Harry,
in the middle of a war zone, you can put me in the middle of a war zone. You're gonna see how many I take with me. You know what I'm saying?
Harry, this is the difference with your situation. You saw the environment you in, and you within yourself realized you know this.
I didn't realize that it was in you. Somebody saw it and was like, yo, you got to bring that dog out. You got to start barking just like Komani McLean. Travis saw that dog and was like, yo, a dog. I need to bring that out. So I got to develop that thing in you. You got to understand the thing that you already have inside of you. Let's bring it out. That's development, isn't it? Am I crazy for saying that? No.
Yeah, but at the same time, though, a dog walks in the natural nature of what it is. So you don't have to tell a dog to watch extra tape. You're not telling a dog to do extra reps when it comes to conditioning and stuff. When it's time to actually get down to business, they the ones stepping up. So there's a certain part of it that is like you have that mindset. Now I can coach you to a point where you could cheat. You could let you being a great athlete, you could let you having great passion could cheat certain aspects to perform like a dog. But if you that person, you that person. Whether you manifest from a place of being quiet or you just a loudmouth, if you that, I know street people who super quiet. I know street people who will walk up to you and smack you at the same time. It doesn't mean that if you loud or you quiet, you don't possess that.
Well,
You
that's what I'm
that
saying, right?
because you that.
If it's already there, but not everybody has the Dylan Edwards thing, the Travis Hunter thing, where you can come straight from high school and start, right? Because we have the example of Cormani McLean. I'm just saying, if it's in there, then it's easy to pull out. If it's not there, it's hard to put in. So when you're trying to put it, the process of pulling it out is called development.
You can't.
Yeah, but sometimes I think we call people dogs because they're great athletes and they perform well.
Yeah,
that doesn't mean they're a dog.
Because you can have a dog in the backyard. He barking. You walk up to it, then it gets quiet. Or you walk up to a dog that's been chained its whole life, and you undo the leash, you undo the chain, and it still stays there like it's chained up, right? But a dog is like the black mamba mentality, like Kobe Bryant, right? You unhook that chain, you unhook that leash, that dog is gonna, you know what I'm saying? It's just an opportunity to trigger for what's already within you to be expressed to come out.
But I think
no matter how hard you train it, no matter how hard, because nobody's gonna train a dog that you take the chain or the leash off and they just sit there.
No. Kobe
you don't train them as a canine. You don't train them as a herder or as a defender, as a protector.
Kobe,
right?
when his soul rests in power. Listen, Kobe, when his soul rests in power, he didn't come out as a dog. Kobe had that thing inside of him. But if you listen to his interviews, he had people who inspire him to do the extra thing. What I'm saying is, sometimes you may have the ability, you may have the skill, you may have all of these things, and something that you can be that extra thing. You can be that Kobe, you can be this person, but somebody can inspire you to really start barking a lot bigger. But that means that you had the dog inside of you. Somebody had to help you to bring it out.
Yeah, but inspiration can make you want to play well, but the dog make you do what's necessary to become that. There's a difference. Kobe went and trained with special ops. That's the difference.
I think
Travis
you're talking about different levels
goes and sit down with Coach Prime
now you're creeping into some other weird thing. You're talking about.
No, I'm telling
levels.
you, there's a difference between. You got to listen to what I'm saying.
Once you know your ability, you can further the special ops and all the other stuff. But the initial ability of can you bark a little bigger? There are people that need to bark a little bigger. You know that they have the ability, but it just need to be pulled out of them. And there are coaches that know how
but
to
a dog does
maximize the dog ability of players.
You can develop grit, but not
that
tenacity.
is the natural nature of a dog to bark. But there's dogs who know when that leash is off to take after or go after what's in front of them. There's a significant difference. And that means you are doing whatever it takes. And a lot of those players are great athletes and they are not doing what it takes. So, for example, when Shador gets hit, there was nobody on the O-line picking him up. That mentality didn't exist. You see what I'm saying? So there's a significant difference. When Travis got hurt, he got up and was trying to get back in. They had to push him back to the bench. There's that thing that I am that person. You could do it silently, but that I am that person, I am the best person at the time right now, that is a dog. We're not talking about
Travis didn't always
great
have that,
athletes.
Travis didn't always have that. Travis didn't always have that.
Bro, coming out to high school as the overall in that
Travis
position.
had ability, but somebody had to inspire Travis. Like you look at Jimmy Horn. We would say Jimmy Horn is a dog, right? But at points and moments,
Jimmy Horn is a hard worker.
Jimmy Horn's a dog. I don't care how you put it.
He's a hard worker.
But there has been a moment where Coach Prime had to let Jimmy Horn know, bruh, go and play the game that you know how to play. And then he started like doing what Jimmy Horn does. It's like All right, so listen.
Well, that's Harry B. That's what I was going to mention. Is like Coach Prime. We talking about CU football. Coach Prime, was talking about those moments. There's moments that the team couldn't get past. Though there was situational football that the team just didn't know how to handle, and that's where your leaders and dogs come in. That's especially where your dogs come in, right? When you should give up the first down, but you don't because the dog just had that something extra that didn't come out in the 40-yard dash. You know what I'm saying? But it came out in the moment. You know what I'm saying? This is what we're trying to say, the nuance between very good players, right?
Right.
People who might even have dog-like characters, features, but a true dog is unleashed, It's something that you have to try to contain. Once you unleash it, it's something that you have to control and contain. It's not
something who's a silent dog?
Leaders are developed. Skill players are developed. Leaders are developed, but dogs are dogs. And that's why Coach Prime said you can be a dog, but not necessarily a leader, right? And you can be a leader, but not necessarily a dog, because there's a difference. And that's all we're trying to express to you. We're not trying to downplay anybody. We're not trying to, anything like that, but or that your environment.
Do y'all agree that some dogs can be timid? Like, have y'all breeded dogs before? Like,
but in the environment of football, I played with guys who were better skilled than me, had better natural gifts than me, but I was clearly the dog.
Okay, but let me ask you this question. maybe this will answer that question for you. Like, if you breed real actual dogs, right? No, not the proverbial dog. If you breed dogs, you understand that sometimes the alpha male dog, right? Sometimes they may meet a challenge where either their breeder or somebody made their confidence go down, right? Like, I don't even want to go to slavery. Let's forget about that. Let me just stay with dogs, right? You had a dog where their confidence went down because of how they were breed or how their leader or their handler handled them. So their confidence goes down, right? Their confidence is down, but you know that they can, there's this Rottweiler, even Rottweilers or the best breeds of dogs, you can kill their confidence and you see them going, and then anytime somebody approaches them, they but then you get another breeder, somebody who understands, okay, this is a Rottweiler, this breed is an alpha male dog that shouldn't be this way. Then you put them in situations where they start, like, they understand who they are, and now they're no longer like timid anymore. You just realize, oh, this thing needed to be developed this way, so let me bring that dog out of this dog that's an actual dog. You can't tell me that a real dog cannot get timid or their confidence won't be killed, because we know that in sports, certain coaches, certain leadership can kill people's confidence and kill their ability to believe in themselves, which causes them not to really bark and act like a real dog. It's happened over time. Look at freaking Kwame Brown. You see what I'm saying? When you not say Kwame Brown was a dog coming out of high school, the stats that he put up when he got to Michael Jordan didn't make him feel like a little, and then he regressed as a real dog under somebody else's leadership.
A dog would have bought back.
No.
A
I don't
dog
agree with that.
Harry,
you're dealing with Michael
Okay.
Jordan.
Harry, slow down. Slow down, Harry. You talked about real dogs and you jumped to the NBA. So real dogs,
I'll give you
right?
an example.
We'll be raising real dogs as an example, right? By 6 weeks, especially by 8 weeks, but usually by 6 weeks, you know who the dog is. You know who the alpha is. You know who the betas are. And you know who the lap dogs are. So, what kind of dog you looking for? Oh, we're just looking for a family-friendly dog. I live alone, just someone to cuddle with. Oh, here, this one, right? Or I'm looking for a dog to train to be a canine with the police or the military. Oh, yeah, I look over here with my alpha, and this here, you want this dog.
You can't kill those dogs' confidence?
But I'm just saying.
You can't kill their confidence?
Harry, when you do that, that's when you hear the stories about a dog eating its owner's face. The dog was always in there.
Yep.
When did it unleash? It's going to unleash.
But at week 5,
about dogs eating their owner's face or turning on their owners after 5-10 years. Like, I don't know what happened. You abuse them, and the dog
Brown not a dog.
Dog with him is going to unleash.
So Kwame Brown wasn't a dog.
What did Coach Prime say in the conference? At week 5, he said, "I see everything. I see those who are leaders. I see those who, when the team is losing, they put their head down and they're not even cheering on the people on the field. I see those who just want to play." Harry is a mental. All right, let me use CU. We had a very
was Kwame Brown not a dog?
Wait, we had a very good tight end, right? He did excellent. He stepped up and he made some major catches for us. If you look, the coaches was telling him, hey, when you catch the ball, it's like your foot stopped moving. You got to do that extra to get that extra yard, to get that extra 2 yards. You know what he was doing? He was catching the ball and cradling for the hit. He didn't have the dog mentality of, let me get that extra 2 yards. And that's the difference. He was a great athlete. He scored. He did well. He did excellent, not taking nothing away from the tight end and his talent. But he didn't have the mentality of, oh, I caught the ball a yard and a half short. Let me stretch. Let me fight to get in there. But when he didn't play much, but Antonio, I think his name is number 4, that tall kid, when he caught the ball and he was short, that kid was stretching. That kid was wrestling. You had to come and get somebody else to get him to the mat. There's something in you that is not giving up on the play.
Kwame Brown was a dog, right? Was he a dog or not? Was Kwame Brown a dog?
Let me tell you how the dogs respond to pressure. They bark back. Okay. I'm going to prove to Michael Jordan that I belong here. I'm going to prove to Coach Prime I belong here. I'm not going to jump in the transfer portal because he tell me like, yo, I got some talent coming. There is the action that a dog does.
So telling me if you watch that documentary and everybody having what they said about Michael Jordan and who he was, if Kwame Brown was a dog, then think about Mike Tyson, just like Chris said, right on the screen, right? Any dog, a real dog can also be tamed. A real dog can be intimidated. Even like the biggest breeds, they can be intimidated and they can be made to feel inferior. Okay? Any dog can be broken. So I want you to understand, but it doesn't mean that they're not a dog. I'm using Kwame Brown as an example because we know that the numbers that Kwame Brown put up in high school, he dominated in high school. That's why he became number 1 draft pick. But then you put him against another dog like Michael Jordan, who killed his confidence. You can't tell me Kwame Brown wasn't a dog and Michael Jordan was a dog and he needed to bark a little higher, because you're now talking about how many players can talk to Coach Prime and say, oh no, I'm a dog. Ain't nobody doing that to Coach Prime. So understand that because you're a dog doesn't mean that you're gonna talk back to Michael Jordan.
Kwame Brown is a unique case because he is placed in a situation with somebody who is the elite mindset that we recognize him today as the GOAT. And to put a young
dog versus a dog. There was a dog versus another dog who can intimidate him and break him.
We would have known Kwame is a dog if he went somebody else and he starts hunting again.
But he did.
We got to understand he didn't regain it. The conversation changes when
he was looking at that time. So somebody else had to develop that dog back into him. Somebody had to give him that confidence back. And somebody had to develop that dog and let him know, hey, man, get your confidence back. You are a dog. Like, bro, you had this in high school. You did this. Now he went against the GOAT. And that GOAT broke him. You see what I'm saying?
But that's what I'm saying. In that situation, it's a different conversation.
No, that's not the
totally different conversation.
Gary B, that's a bad example because
that's a bad example, bro.
As a bad example, bro. That's a bad example. But we get what you're saying. We understand what you're saying. We understand the analogy, but
Michael Jordan,
that's the best example that you can give, because an alpha versus an alpha, we all know that if you ever breeded a dog, an alpha male can break another alpha male. You know that. If you breed dogs, Harry, you know that alphas can break alphas.
But when Kwame Brown left that environment, that's the issue. It's not him going butting heads with Michael Jordan like a lot of players did.
Right.
It was what happened after the fact. You know what I'm saying?
After the fact, you got to get somebody.
When Michael Jordan left the Bulls, Scottie Pippen didn't miss a step. Right? He was competing for the Eastern Conference Championship.
If you ever win one.
But I'm just saying, he was one game away from going back to the finals.
Bro, you can't say that because without
Jordan as a kid,
but
Pippen never came to Jordan as a 17-year-old kid.
Even though Jordan was the alpha, right? Pippen went through the same hell with the Celtics, the same hell with the bad boy Detroit Pistons, right? Went through the same hell. The Jordan rule just wasn't for Jordan; they was for Pippen too.
No,
and when he recovered from his
Pippen
migraine,
was never a 17-year-old kid facing a Michael Jordan.
Iron sharpens iron. So the
dog
was always
telling you, That's why we're telling you.
The dog was always in Pippen.
Was a bad example.
Pippen is a better example. Yeah, the bad boys got the Pippen.
Right.
But what happened? He recovered. He got stronger from it.
Right.
That's a better example. Right. But it was always in him.
Yeah,
but just saying your example is wrong.
Who helped Kwame Brown to recover?
But he released.
Who was there to help? Who was there to help Kwame Brown recover?
He went to a different team, bro.
By the Celtics and Pistons. He was getting taken every which way left and right.
Recover.
You know, but he grew stronger from it because he's a dog. He grew smarter and stronger from it because he's a dog.
Who was there to help Kwame Brown recover? And the basement. This whole argument, the basement, Harry B moving the goalpost now, age is an issue. You're making the same argument with Kwame McLean. Because every time I bring up Kwame McLean, y'all always say, "Oh, this young man was young. He needs time to develop." See, you see how this works. You see how this works.
Harry,
now
but the coach said
McLean needs time to develop. He just came out of high school. You see how you can smack people in the face.
That's skill level. That's skill level.
But Kwame
leave it to Coach Matt. Leave it to Coach Mathis. Leave it to Coach Mathis, and leave it to Travis Hunter to tag Kwame as a dog.
We just came 360. We just came 360 because Kwame needs.
I'm not giving you that.
Kwame McLean needs time to develop because he's a young man coming out of high school.
The coach said that.
A whole other situation.
The coach said that. The coach said that, bro.
Congratulations. You guys just did it. Thank you very much. In the show, and right there we can end the show on that one.
No.
Thank you for making my point. I love you guys.
That's what you was waiting on, Harry B.
What you said, Nolan?
You wrong for that.
I said that's what you was waiting on.
No, bro.
Hey, it's your show. It's your show, Harry. Hey, it's your show. It's your show, Harry. Hey, it's your show.
I'll be playing chess. I don't play checkers. I'm playing chess here.
Yeah, Harry ain't leaving without that queen.
I'm not. You're gonna get checkmated quickly. I promise you. You don't understand what I be doing. Thank you very much. That was a great show, guys. I baited y'all. Look, I threw my line in. I was just waiting. I was just waiting for it. Yo, man, it's been a beautiful show. Thank you guys for being a great audience, and thank you for being a great panel. Panda, last words, man. Panda, what's your last words?
Hey, man, y'all have a happy holidays, Mr. Move the Goalpost, Harry B, a.k.a.
Mr. Kwame McLean, thank you very much. All right, Waldo, what's your last words?
Oh man, I just wish we had gotten through the defense too, but that's to be. But again,
next show,
our QB position and backup is solidified. Running back core, like Panda said, not even talking about what we bringing in. Let's just look at what we know we already got. Right, guys, we already know and familiar with. Offensive line. Again, guys, we already know what we got. one coming up from a pec injury, and an FBS All-American coming up, right? So that's 2 starters, including the All-American coming up. Well, we know we already got, right? Then we bringing in an FBS transfer, All-American Tyler Johnson from Houston, and we got the 5-star plus sign, Jordan Seaton, coming in. That's major upgrades. So at least we covered the offense. So maybe next show we can just go right into the defense.
We're going to the defense next show.
We covered the offense. That's all I want to say.
Still want
but we haven't really gone deep into the offense yet, because I want to talk about the center position. We're gonna take a center position. You know,
well, I understand details, but I mean, like, as far as core upgrades, like, are we on par to what we're going into? Like, you know, Coach Prime has his wish list, and it's like, well, dang, okay, let's go through it then. So that's what we're saying. We start the offense going through each line, and then why he doesn't have any offensive players listed on his wish list.
That's right.
Right.
So what? Well, our dog is always trying to start us. He's like a cliffhanger. He's like at the end of the movie. Part 2 is coming. So let me give you a tune in tomorrow,
people. Tune in tomorrow.
Tune in tomorrow as we do. We talk more details on the defense. All right, Nolan. What's your last words, man?
Hey, go Bucks, man. Look forward to picking it up tomorrow.
That's right. All right, guys. So I will see you guys on tomorrow. Listen, whatever drama comes up, we're going to talk about it, but I'm always going to bring you some type of information so that we can talk about the details. Because if we're overhyping it, we're going to talk about it. If it's overhyped, I would say it. And one of these panel members are going to let us know whether we're overhyping it. All right, guys, you enjoy the rest of your day.
We can expect Harry to move the goalpost.
I will move the goalpost if I have to, okay? I will give you another Kwame Brown versus Michael Jordan comparison. So just be ready for that. All right, guys. Have a wonderful day, guys. Take care. Peace out. All right, guys. So that is your show. You know who I am. I'm Harry B. And that right there, what's your Liberian perspective? That's TLP Sports Club. Brah.